Hooray! Hi guys, it's a girl in Terms, also known as Gelwapazed, girl from Zambia. If you're new to my YouTube channel, please subscribe so that each time I upload videos, you will be notified that Gelwapazed posts a video. Thank you so much for tuning into this live stream. I am blessed to have every one of you here. Thank you so much. We'll wait for people to come on board. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And tell me where you're watching me from. Let me check if it's showing on my Facebook page. Hope you're fine. Hope you're fine. Let's talk about these things. Yesterday I had a bit of a break. I was tired. I needed to rest. And for those of you who want to join, Hooray! Hi guys, it's a go. Okay. Oh, the volume is clear. I'm happy. So here is the link for those of you who want to join StreamYard so we can talk about these things. It's important that we share, we talk about these things. Thank you so much. Let me share also on our group. Hi, Pretty M. Kombe, come on the live stream. I'm sending you the link. How are you? Pretty M. Kombe, come on board. Let's talk about these things. I've sent you the link. Yesterday I had a break. And you know, when you're a mother, you have things to do, you've got a business to run. Sometimes you just need a break. Yeah, so tell me where you're watching me from. Thank you so much for joining us. I've uploaded some videos on my YouTube channel. I hope the light is okay. Okay. I've uploaded some videos on my YouTube channel, which are there. Yeah, and you can check them out. Here's StreamYard. And remember to share this video. I also share on my community tab to say we are live. And thank you so much for 66,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. I can't believe this. We are going to hit 70,000 during this lockdown. Honestly, I'm so blessed to have each and every one of you. The link is you can share the YouTube link, please, ABC. Gerard says, hi, Gelwapazed, I'm watching from Lusaka. I love you so much. You really inspire me. Thank you. You too, you inspire me, because without you, I wouldn't be here. So we are live now. So this Zambian graduate that we're talking about, his name is Ian Musaba, and he sells charcoal for a living. I know things may have changed in the past few days, but we're going to talk about this. Felix from Muchinga province. Let me be putting you guys here. Yeah. Thank you so much. So my post on YouTube is live, on Facebook is live. Yep. So Felix from Chinga, KB's in the background. Who else wants to join? Oh, Chipata. Poop, 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 poop. Chipata is on board. So this is, from Grenada. Oh, wow. Thank you so much. So you know the drill. We'll wait at least for a few more people and then we can come on board. And please, as you're coming on board, always turn off your mic if you're not talking, because some of you always have some noise in the background and people get irritated. Send the link on WhatsApp group. Yes, I'm sending the link on WhatsApp group. I've sent it already. Please join us. We are live. Naomi, yes, Naomi. I'm sending you the link because I need you, Naomi, as my guest as well, Naomi. Naomi is the young lady that sells buns, so I needed her as well. Thank you so much, Naomi. I'll send you a message. Naomi, we've raised some money for Naomi. People have started sending me some money for Naomi. Naomi, I told you that on the 21st, I've got a present for you. Some people sent me some money for Naomi, the lady that bakes buns. So at least people are donating, and I know more people are going to donate. The whole essence of us coming online to discuss is not to demean our country, Zambia, but to face the problems and we sort them out together. Because that way we are a family. if we don't sort out these problems together, no one will. It's like the Asian communities, they always do these things by themselves. They donate food, they do empower people, they do what they can, helping hospitals. I'll have to close our window. Helping hospitals, and yeah. So I'm going to bring on board Gerald before I start speaking. So Gerald, I'll bring you. Please turn off anything in the background, and then I'll leave you on the screen for a bit, and then I close the window. My children are on holiday, so I have mommy's time. Today is mommy's time. Okay. Hi, Gerald. How are you?
I'm very okay. How are you, Lily?
Fine, thank you. Good to see you. I'm sure you've seen the trending story.
Yes.
The struggle is real.
Yes, very real.
I like the fact that I'm able to meet different people from Zambia that I wouldn't have a chance to meet in person. But that's why I always say YouTube was the best thing that ever happened to me, because then you see I'm meeting you for the first time.
Yeah. I wish you beat when you come to Zambia.
I'm not going to announce my presence in Zambia. After the elections, yes.
Yes, you should come to vote. Oh.
Of course, I am coming to vote. Definitely, I am coming to vote. I am coming to vote.
I can't wait to see you.
I know. My uncle called me from America and was saying, "Yeah, you're very famous." I said, "No, I'm not."
You are very much famous. Everyone is talking about you here in Zambia. Yes. Gelo Apazed everywhere. There's stories about Gelo Apazed. And almost everyone is talking good about you. I like that.
Oh, we thank God. It's God that uses us at our own appointed time. Let me just say hi, F8 Martins. I have made you moderator, amazing YouTuber in Nigeria. Mayulinda, thank you so much for joining us. Sharon, thank you so much. Tabitha, my supporter from Essex, good to see you. So for those of you who come on board and then you see that you're in the background, you wait for me to add you to the stream. So let's get to the topic. A young man, his images were displayed all over social media that he is selling charcoal at the moment because he looked for a job for the past 6 years as a graduate and he couldn't get it. What was your response when you saw that in the media? There's delay in the speech, so did you get me?
Hello? Yes, Lily.
Yeah. I was saying that the young gentleman that we saw, his images have displayed all over social media. What was your response when you saw that on Facebook? Like, what was your response when you saw that this is a graduate that is selling charcoal? What was your response?
Okay, well, thank you. I think what I did, I responded, I just said, here in Zambia, there is too much corruption. That is a fact. Yeah, one, he's a graduate, by the way.
Yes,
and I don't know when the year he graduated from which school, from that school he was at. So now, instead of the government to do something for him, but they are just looking at him like that. You see, a person selling charcoal, a graduate. I don't know if he's a degree holder, and he's just getting rotten in the home. And yet, if you see people who are getting employed at the moment, they are not even qualified as compared to him. You see.
Yeah.
So now, here in Zambia, to be honest with you, if you don't have connections, you can't work. If you don't know anyone in the front, those guys in the higher offices, if you don't know anyone, I'm telling you, you can't work. You can't work. That is the truth.
And the thing is, right, the reason why I've loved this story is that it proves my video that I talked about Lusaka City Council. A whistleblower from Lusaka City Council told me that they recruit loads of people who are not even qualified, and even the cadres are taking positions of accountancy, so many positions. People are deployed only when they bribe. And then to see a graduate at home, I was shocked. The positive thing is that he didn't stay at home doing nothing. He started selling charcoal.
Imagine.
I don't know about people who go to UNZA, because he's been talking about the loans that he needs to pay for the loans, the UNZA loans for others. So he says that's why he's working like that. I've read on his posts. But the shocking part is he received an appointment from the government, and even after the appointment, he didn't get the job. They told him that the job was taken. Who took the job? Obviously, the person who's taken the job is more qualified than him. So let's talk about it. Let's see who's here. Lily, if you're coming on board, you have to be stable. I can see you in the background. Are you ready? Okay. Let's bring Lily T. Hi. Oh, my sister.
How are you?
I'm fine. I was saying you have to be in one place.
Yeah. Nalala ndafe chiremba pakuti wanze wareumfwa. Murerande chiremba pakuti chano chonze chireumfwa.
Yes, so no problem. London.
Iri story ya murumendo Yustisha Malasha. It's still bad. Umuntu alipishe skuru, alitafyonse qualify, alestisha Malasha, just imagine. Esanga wala abantu awomba mu office, bitabakwata pona ma degree. But wale bomba mu office, wale foreign shamanu. Abantu abapwisha ama skuru, wale chula fi. Nowadays, if you want to find a job, you must open your egg.
Imagine.
If you just want to find a job, normal job, you must open your egg, you must say something. Sure,
and you know, sure. And now we should have to futhi gelo wapazedi. Yeah, mu 2018 because I grew up in Copperbelt, Konale Kalakundola. So now I don't know. Na kuisha school mu 2012. No passa fe we no na passa ine. Na mais results ya fe munganda na no. Twasa umfati kuri recruitment ya ba police mu 2018. So twasa apply, twasa no kwe. So twasa lolela tinomba selection ya isa namba tukumuna mane mziyesu na yafuma shani pa central police mu town Musaka. Ukwisa sanga tatulipo. Elo kwa isa so mu guys umo katushinga ni blue wa police bamwe bachikude ukwisa fika vati apanga nshiripo police apanga nshiripo ya mudala lembwesha shempia alembwesha shempia shandi alembwesha so inasa munati so ninshi abala kwata opportunity ni bala fya bale pita fenda la mabale bosha kufu bashale bosha koifwe ni shitakuli so chale so funa shite tuntunganya ko bati pano pa Zambia too much corruption paisana corruption if you don't bribe someone you can't get a job
yeah
na salo sha akamwa ichaka kaka katishinga kana 16 years kali kali amba so kuomba kali mu and yet if we pusha masukuru mu kale 8 years ago kule chuchuti kafe and yet abale pusha masukuru last year apusha fe school aya bamusenda fe afini pantu na beshi bana nabali kuntaje so mwandini tafiwe mefintu mwandini.
And that's why in and I'm always saying this even on my channel. I even said this even on Facebook. I was like, some people are saying, oh, maybe I'm looking for an opportunity. That's why I'm talking about Zambia. When I'm in Zambia, I want to work on my farm because I know there's no jobs. You people have been in Zambia how many years? And then I should come and take over your job. It's impossible. So F8 Martins is watching. She's saying, speak English. So F8 Martins, basically, what they were just complaining was that for you to get a job in Zambia, you need to know someone. So the young man was also telling us his story that he had gone to look for a job as a police officer. And when he was looking for a job as a police officer, he was told that, there was no opportunity, but somebody came over and was screaming that if I don't get my job after paying the money that I paid, I will, that police officer will see it. Like, basically you shall see. Yeah. So they were just saying that
my money.
Yeah, you take my money. Yeah. So we're talking about, it's about connections. Now, the young man, in fact, F8 Martins, it would be good for you to do a video about him. The young man in question, his story is here. Let me just read it for you so that you understand. Oh, some more people are coming. He sells charcoal in order for him to survive. So his story has gone viral. People are talking about him. But somebody commented that apparently he's been given a job. I'm not so sure about that. If anyone knows, please do let me know. Ian Musaba is his name. He sells charcoal. There is somebody here. Also, I'm looking for the story. Let me bring this person. Yeah. Hi, Chaston. How are you?
I'm okay, madam. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Good to see you. Where are you calling us from?
I'm from Macha.
Macha in Zambia. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice. Tell us what you think about the
madam.
story.
Would you allow me to speak my language?
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, you can speak. F8 Martins, I've got a job to interpret. Yes. Yeah, carry on.
Okay. The program, madam, ndayihwa. Then ikuenderanya abuku busiwese bomuno omuze mu Zambia. Tatu poni ikabotupe. Twamba bobo. Mebone amba ora no banda kamana ichikoro ndira diploma mu maths a computer studies mu education. Ndakamana ni mani ya mu 2018. So it was wawo waranga tumapisweki kuina wainga kofe wano wadzana baba party baba madhara umbwa wainga wambia ta werindira first one bichani so oyo mundu usambara mara shawe kwenda to ichikoro is very bad.
Yeah.
It is not good, man.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
He chomunga na chotunga turachita swevo ikutegwa twarijana ko amwe asaita swevo kakano vantu ikwamba ba specifically mamadamu iburero wesu taburi bubotu pe.
Okay, thank you. Muluwa, basically what he's saying is, I'm not Tonga, but I have this gift where I can hear languages. He's just basically saying that it's not good what is happening in our country, that we have somebody who's a graduate and now he's selling charcoal since he was talking about 2018. You said something about 2018, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, he said something about 2018. Was it the guy who was looking for a job since 2018, huh?
Yes, myself.
Yeah, himself, yeah. So he was talking about himself, that you've got good grades, but even up to now, he's struggling to get a job. So he's struggling to get a job. Yes, Bernard, we need a interpreter. Can we have an interpreter?
Adequate diploma in IT. He's got a diploma in IT.
Yeah, yeah.
Diploma in ICT and mathematics.
And mathematics. I had mathematics as well.
Yes.
He's got mathematics, but up to now, he's looking for a job. And you're based in Macha. Where is Macha?
Yeah.
Which province?
Choma.
Southern province.
Choma.
Southern province. So there's no opportunities at all for you. So in the end, what job are you doing now?
Nothing, madam. Nothing.
You can imagine. And at least
just imagine.
We can even have teaching employment jobs, but there's no opportunities. And this is what we are talking about. If the government can pay attention to building our facilities for people, and people will be able to come on board. Somebody saying, Luyu Luba is saying it's better sell Malasha than joining corruption or doing something against human rights. Yes, that's what I saw about him. Let me add someone else. We never know, maybe somebody is Tonga. If you're Tonga, please join us as well, so that, you know, we never know. We can have many people who have issues and they can't express, you know. Alan is here as well. Alan is from the UK. And remember, each time you come here, you turn off your volume. Mary has said, hi, sister, God bless you. JC, how are you? Where are you watching us from? Hi, JC.
Hey, how are you? I'm watching you from Cape Town.
Yeah, oh, good to see you, JC.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So I was just hearing from the Tonga boo speaking just some few minutes. Yeah.
Can you speak Tonga?
Yeah, I can speak Tonga. I did my school from Tonga.
Poo, poo, poo. Can you tell us the whole sentences? So you see,
yeah, so I can speak Tonga. So if he can speak what he wanted to say, then I can interpret, I can help.
Okay. Chastan, say it again. Say what you're saying again. Wow.
All right. Say the one, but I say it, madam.
What I was saying is this, madam.
So, Zambia, I will problem, but
there's a problem here where we are living in Zambia.
Ndamba bobo kambo ikunjikwe so toba makukugosi igoro twakamana mbe wina inchito ijanika pe.
I'm saying so because as youths we have completed our education but we don't have jobs.
Johansson ikuti omuntu ura diploma then wakuurijana kuti usambara imarasha.
It is a shameful thing having a diploma then you find yourself selling charcoal.
So twarukumbira kuti na ihurumende yeso nayenga achitabutika kambi cyane bokuti ayikutari kuti omuntu ikujana nchito mane gukora degree na master pepe kaka ora certificate ingawajana nchito.
We were asking for the government if they can help us, that even a person who has got a diploma can find a job, not someone who has got a degree only.
So ija shupa omuntu mu Zambia ibunji ina ihurumende yosoko yanda maningi imagoro eno sibotoba mu imari amagoro tatu GCP.
So the problem is that our government wants corruption and as youths we don't have that money for corruption.
So twarukumbira kuti ndiza ibari kumbere nobarutu gwahiri hako kambo kuti umbwa bocho yanda na uri musimbi wane tu ujana nchito mane omwe awambe kuti no atuite ijeja which is very bad.
So if you're a lady, the thing that will be needed is for you maybe to sleep with that person, which is very bad.
It's true.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your translation. It's important. Somebody was commenting that, you know, why wasn't he speaking English? This is what we need to work with as Africans. Yeah. Not people from YouTube, obviously, it's people from Facebook. We need to be proud of our heritage, where we're coming from. Remember that people come from different places and they better express themselves in their language, and we have to respect that. So, Mr. Chasten, make sure you email me on lilymutamstv@gmail.com, and we will speak to the team and see what, because, you know, in as much as we're working as youths of the world with Zambia, I never thought there would be somebody from Macha. So that's an area that needs our attention. We don't know how many people who are jobless in Macha. You know, we don't know what's going on. Instead of us looking at Lusaka capital city, people in Macha need our help. You know, Lusaka is saturated. And we will speak to the team and see what we can do to look into Macha area in Choma. Just hold on. OJ Styles is coming in.
Hi, Lily.
OJ is coming. Yeah, hi, how are you? Good to see you. You've heard our young man who's just come on board as well. You know, we're talking about lack of opportunities in Zambia for graduates, and we just also heard somebody else telling us their own situation in Macha in Choma. What's your contribution?
Okay, yeah, I've been following that story for that man who's selling charcoal. But for me, I would like to give a background of what is happening in the economy, because all this that we are going through is because of leadership. Right now in Zambia, there are only a few sectors that where someone can get employed. So when you look at there's just mining, there's just civil service, and then also private companies. Now, when you look at the private companies, this time there's a bit of technology, and not people being employed at once in terms of huge numbers. Then we come to the civil service. The civil service this time we have a lot of graduates. Talk of maybe teachers, nurses. There are those that graduated as far as 2015, 2014, they are yet to be employed. So maybe we understand what can be the cause of that. You and I can attest to it, that as we are talking now, the GDP for Zambia is standing at 26 billion. But you know, the total debts that we have as a country is about 20 billion. So which means we only have a leverage of about 6 billion, which means our economy is saturated. We don't have a breathing space. So they didn't borrow that money for investment, so that they create jobs for other sectors. When you do an analysis of Zambia, there's only Copperbelt and Lusaka. These other provinces, there's no economic activity. So now, if you try to see all these things that we are undergoing as youth of getting issues of unemployment, is because of poor leadership. Because in the northern province, there's no factories, there's no any other manufacturing companies. There's nothing. Because even if you want to say the money that they borrow is for roads, but we need to be strategic. So for me, we are really in a mess as a nation. And then when you look at also our currency, our currency doesn't have value this time. Inflation is also high. Inflation at this time last year it was almost at 11, but this time it's at 16. So which means the economy is almost collapsing. Then coming back to that guy who's selling charcoal, it's very unfortunate. But Lily, you need to understand that there are a lot of people more than that same guy who are undergoing such a situation. Exactly. So the only thing that I can say is because of poor leadership, because we do not plan. You know, the population is increasing. When you look at Zambia some years back, we were few. We are almost 12 million, somewhere there, 13 million. But this time we are about 18 million. And of all that 18 million, how many are employed? I don't know, maybe we are even 40% of the people are in informal sector. I don't believe that. Maybe 30, 35, somewhere there. And then when you look at the same percentage for those that are employed, there are very few. Others, majority, are not qualified to be in the same position. So you can attest to it that most of these parastatals or government-owned companies, for you to get employed unless you know someone. So which means there's no equal opportunities for everyone to get employed. Now, how will be an ordinary person from a village who doesn't have connection get a job? So these are the cries that as Zambians we are crying at youth. That's why they're resorting to do other businesses. And again, it's not bad to do it's not bad to do business as at now, because the formal sector is saturated. There are no position. But what does the government has for us use in terms of empowering us to acquire that capital? There's nothing. We have Citizen Economic Empowerment Fund. How many access loans to that institution? There are very few. All the institutions have been politicized.
And you find that even such type of loans, you need to know connections. It's like everything we want, we need to pay someone. You can't just
really, your volume is a bit low. I don't know if maybe it's
okay.
Yeah,
I'm saying.
So you find that there are very few that get loans. So how can youth be empowered? It's very sad. Now, what is the solution to this that we are undergoing? Hello, are you getting me?
Yes, and that's why I keep on saying that we need to.
Pardon?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
No.
Can you hear me?
Faint.
Oh, really?
You're too faint.
Okay, carry on. I'll take myself out and in. Maybe the volume sometimes is like that. So let me go out and back. Carry on.
Yeah. So I was saying.
Carry on.
Okay. Yeah. Now I was saying the biggest thing that we need to do as youth. What should we do? We've seen there's no employment. Government doesn't even care about us because we need empowerment. So if you see someone doing a business, not something you should laugh at this era, because I believe almost every youth at this time should be thinking of employing himself. You know that, right? Because if you wait for the government, there's nothing. But it's very frustrating due to the fact that someone wasted so many years to go to school. And we treated school as something that can help us start a life from somewhere. You know, when you complete school, you expect to find a job. Then if you try to empower yourself in terms of being an entrepreneur, it's not this. We are suffering as Zambians. So it's something that we need to iron out, because it's lack of leadership. Look at all the monies that we are owing as Eurobonds. Do we benefit? Of course, you can say they are roads, of course, they are infrastructure, but do we benefit? And then when you look at the rapid corruptions, a lot of people that have pocketed themselves as politicians, they are rich. But how about you, Zambian youth? What can we point at? There's nothing. That's why you see you have a lot of graduates mushrooming just around the street. There's nothing. There's no empowerment. There's no capital. There's no employment. So we need to wake up as Zambians. All this is pointing to the leadership. There's no two-way things about it. Because if you're the government that cares about us, something can be. When you talk of diversification, we have agriculture, we have other things, but what has been done about it? There's nothing. You start at 350,000. But say we say a bag of 50 kg at 110. And what
Okay, so he's muted. Hi, Bernadette. Good to see you. Is that how you pronounce it? Hi, Bernadette. Sorry. How are you? Check your mic. You need to unmute your mic. Otherwise, hi. How are you? How are you, Bernadette? Or our brother, how are you? That has been here a long time. Jeff Sims, how are you?
Hi.
Your contribution, sir. Your contribution, sir.
Oh yes. Looking at the current situations that we have, I think it's really isn't good that someone is doing that business of charcoal, because it's been long overdue. We've been calling for white collar jobs, which are not coming forth, and our governmental positions are still filled up. We don't know what happened to the retirement age. I don't know if it's still there, if people are still retiring. I don't know. So, if looking at someone who's young, a youth, doing something productive, something going to start
Speak up. Jeff, speak up, please. We can't hear you.
Okay, yeah. So I was like,
yeah, that's better.
Yeah, if we're going to, when looking at a youth doing something, whether we support it, I'm going to talk about, because where we are right now, white collar jobs are not, because we have these leaders in government who've been there for day one. Their retirement age is there, is like it's there, but they still don't want to retire. So if you look at someone young who's doing something, anything in form of making an income, it's really something that someone is supportive with. No matter what kind of business, no matter what type of business, so long as it's a business, it's a legal business. It's something that giving up the income, and that youth is making us, they're making themselves busy with income making, with money making. So it's really unfortunate that we don't have a government backup to such kind of people who are doing certain business. Because this same charcoal, you find that the same government, in form of police people, you pass through a lot of hell for you to get that charcoal.
Yes. You need a police permit.
Yeah. So and the police is not going to give you. So at every certain roadblock that you're going to pass, you need to leave 100 kwacha. So if you're going to pass through 10 roadblocks, and getting that charcoal, you're not going to get from the from the backyard, from the corridor. No, you have to travel miles and miles, and you're going to be 100 quarters in each and of those police points. So if I don't know, have a backup, like a government backup, to say, okay, this is a young person, can you kindly please not be charging these people? We know it's environmental, whatever they call it, but especially what we're going to do. This is the only business that is there for someone with a little that you can start with. So it's for me. I really applaud the guy who's doing the charcoal business. It's a big up for me. At least I know he's doing something. He's not stealing. He's not. If he just sits down and say, no, I have papers for school, good job, white, whatever, it's not going to come forth. Because even these jobs, you need someone who you know. So
yes,
it's really a good thing that he's doing something. Really, for me, it's really good. It's really good.
Thank you so much, Mercy. How are you?
Hello, I'm well. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. My subscribers are liking you. You're stealing the show.
Oh, really?
Today you came on board, and my subscribers really like you.
I'm just voicing out my opinion and my concerns for the country, because at the end of the day, I may be away, but that's still home for me. I have family there. I have siblings there. And all of these people are affected by these same problems that we're talking about. So I'm very passionate about my country. So I just wanted to speak about youth unemployment, where there's no jobs. I will say it's the failure on the part of the government, because they have a responsibility to put in place programs to ensure that our youths are employed. And I also feel like they've made really poor choices in terms of investment, because one of the reasons they were saying or suggested that we should have investors, and the reason they encourage them to come to the country is so that, you know, the country will benefit from things like employment, building of certain infrastructure that we may probably not have the skills to do it. But the manner in which this is done, it doesn't benefit Zambians. When you have foreign investors, like the ones we've heard about from China, who will start these companies, they bring their own money, and then they bring their own people to do the jobs. That replaces potential employees from the Zambian population. If you're not hiring Zambians, they're not going to work. So the government needed to have in place certain policies and restrictions where they say things like, if you come to the country and invest a certain amount of money, you need to employ X amount of Zambians. You know, so when you do things like that, you can also have what creates it creates skills sharing. So we'll be learning as well. But then if these foreign investors are bringing in their own people to do all of this work, not hiring Zambians, you will forever depend on them. And when you look at the things that we're giving in exchange for the little investment that they're doing, they'll build certain things, you know, a few roads here and there, a stadium, but you're giving away a mine. You're giving away an asset that's going to generate income for the country. I mean, how crazy do you have to be to give away such important assets for the country that bring in revenue? How much revenue do we get from the stadiums that have been built? I'm just curious, how many Zambians have benefited from that?
If you go to the stadium right now, I was in Zambia, obviously, in December, and we shot a video with Wadamaya. It's on his YouTube channel. Nobody's there. It's just kids playing there, doing whatever, and you hear the cost of it. Yes, it's important we have a stadium, but we can, you know, put this money to better use. A lot of people are struggling. It's obviously because of poor management, nothing else. Because if you can manage a country well, we can at least have lots of job opportunities and people also being able to empower themselves through small businesses. But how can you even start a small business when you don't have a job? Because nowadays people can get loans, but you need a payslip. So how do you get a loan without a payslip? It's a challenge.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. There's so many problems where the government is not looking out for the interests of the Zambian people. Even local businesses, that is another problem. They are under threat by these foreign investors. There is no protection for the local businesses right now. So you may be a youth who went to university, had your degrees, you've not been able to get a job. As someone said, for women, you probably would have to open your legs, you know, to be hired. For men, you know, no opportunity to do that. Probably they won't even get a job. There's someone who I think had waited 8 years. They never got hired. And then you look at the caliber of people who've been employed. They haven't been trained for those jobs, but they've got the job somehow. So there's no protection. So if I, as you know, someone who's educated, finished school, I can't get a job, somehow I get lucky, I manage to put together some funds, I start a little business. Even that business that I start is under threat. There is no guarantee that people selling charcoal, local people, that business may not be taken over, or that it might not be given to the Chinese investors under corruption. So still, even local businesses are under threat. What are people supposed to do? So I think we need to maybe push for something that's never really happened, like a debate before the election. I think it's very important that we hear from all candidates, including the current president. I would really, really, really like the current president, the ruling party, to defend their record from the time that they were voted into power up to now. Can they defend their record? Can they defend youth unemployment? Can they say they've created jobs for the Zambian people? These are the questions that we need to ask. Can they say they've done anything different when it comes to pensioners who've been waiting for years and years and years for their money? Because that is another issue. Can they defend that record? Have they done anything about it? Nothing. So those are the difficult questions that we need to ask. We need to ask questions about corruption. You know, can they defend their record? How have they performed? How has PF performed when it comes to corruption? Is the Anti-Corruption Commission doing their job? Can President Edgar Lungu come out and defend this record that he's performed well? Those are the things that we want to hear. Can he come and defend the fact that local businesses are doing well, or that they're being crushed by foreign investments? Can he defend the investment choices that have been made for the country, whether it's resulted in further youth unemployment, no restrictions or conditions given to the Chinese investors about employing a certain percentage of Zambians? Can he defend that? Can he come out now and say, yes, I've done well, this is what I'm doing? And I think another important thing is we need to hear from more people who are going through these difficulties. I know there's a story that's been highlighted of a graduate who is selling charcoal right now, and there's a rumor that he may have been given a job. I don't know how true it is.
That's what I heard as well, that he's been given a job. But we have a guest here who's just probably logged out. He's from Macha, and he was just telling us his story that he qualified in 2018 and he hasn't got any job at the moment. He's got a diploma in IT and mathematics, and he has no opportunity. Yeah, so many of them are struggling. But I also wanted to highlight something that I watched 2 days ago, where a certain group of people, they had like a panel and they were talking about how the lifestyle of our politicians need to be audited. And I thought that was really good, that, you know, they're looking into that. It's important that their lifestyles are audited. And the gentleman was also saying that if somebody buys a Range Rover, where did he get the money from to buy the Range Rover? We need to know. So let me see if I can catch that particular video right now, and then I play it loud. It's about a minute only. So let me, I just want you guys to hear what he said. And I think it's a worry among everybody, you know, the qualified people we know.
Another suggestion which is topical and has caused some controversy is I actually think we need lifestyle audits. I was attorney, Solicitor General. I worked as Attorney General. Why should I be afraid of being checked if I didn't steal? I should be asked what I have, how I got it, and when I tell you that it's from allowances, I should prove that. If I tell you I have businesses, let me show the businesses, but I should also show what tax I paid. We must all account for the wealth we have. Otherwise, don't go into public service. I have heard some rebuttals about this lifestyle audit issue and saying everyone should then do it. We can't target people. Does everyone handle public money? Those of us who choose to enter these public offices should be open to accountability. When you are in public office, you are not a private person. There's no privacy. If you drive a Range Rover, we want to know where you got the money. Because you are in public office. If you wear a Rolex, we want to know where you got the money. Otherwise, you don't qualify to serve, and you shouldn't serve in those offices. And that would be true no matter which party came into power. Progressive organizations do what lifestyle audits.
So you see, did you hear that?
Yeah, I completely agree. People need to be checked. I mean, that is actually standard number one for when you're an auditor. One of the things you look out for is someone who has a lavish lifestyle. If someone is spending beyond what they earn, that is a sign that they probably got the money through, you know, means which are questionable. That is just one of the signs. There's exceptions. Perhaps someone may come from a wealthy family. You know, the family is rich and they've managed to get a little bit more money and they can spend beyond that. But people need to be checked. The only thing I wanted to say that I wanted to finish about the graduate who was selling charcoal and regarding the rumor that he may have been given a job by the government. Well, great. you know, but I know there's more people apart from him who are going through the same thing. If that has happened, you know, I'm happy for him, but I don't think we should be quiet on that issue. We actually need to bring out more people, encourage more people with these same stories to come out, including the stories of the pensioners who've been waiting for years and years and years and haven't been given their money when they've retired. We need these stories to be highlighted, because if the government rushes and they give this graduate who was selling charcoal, they give him a job, it's just firefighting. They're panicking and they don't want issues to come out. So we need to continue. We need like an influx, like a flood of people who are going through these problems, because they are the Zambians who are facing them, and they need to voice it out, which should create pressure to the leaders to come out and address the people in the debates before the election. So it's not to say we're going to be easy on the opposition or other candidates who want to become president. These are the questions we're going to be asking them as well. The question of unemployment has been going on for years, where people have said, oh, if you don't know anyone, you don't get a job. It's been going on for years. So we need to ask all of these candidates, what is your plan to resolve this issue? We need to ask the difficult questions. What is your plan to deal with the oppression that the Zambians are facing because of the current dodgy Chinese investors? How are you going to resolve that? Because right now, from the current government, there's silence. If you speak out, you must apologize. We've apologized, so let me see you now. The government, you said there are proper channels. Let me see those departments you've appointed to deal with this. When are they going to condemn it? When are they going to deal with the oppression that people are facing? These are the difficult questions we need to ask. So there's a lot that hasn't been done. We need to ask, how are you going to regulate the Chinese investors to ensure that the local businesses do not collapse? Because right now they're collapsing. I hear there are people who had businesses to sell chicken. Like they can't compete anymore because things have changed there. Some people at the market were selling certain products. They can't compete anymore. So what have you put in place to protect the local people of Zambia? So that was my contribution. I think we should put pressure. There must be a debate before the elections. We would like to hear from all the candidates what their plan is. I mean, if ZNBC doesn't want to do it, that's fine. We can have it online. I mean, look, we have a discussion online. We can have these people come out and speak on these issues. And we're not making it easy for anyone. It won't be easy for the current government. It won't be easy for the opposition or any other candidates. We need people with concrete plans of exactly what they're going to do to deal with the problems that we're facing now. Youth unemployment, pensioners not being paid on time, inefficient practices in government, corruption that is going on right now. We need those resolved. What are they going to do now? What is their plan? And also regulation of Chinese investors. What are you going to do now? If the government keeps silent, which is what I expect, I expect them to be silent on this issue because they have failed. They're cowering. They won't come out and defend it. And the issue of, I heard about, someone said the president is being misled. That is a poor excuse for a leader to make. You are a leader. You are in that role. You know, pull your weight up and do your job. Saying someone misled you does not absolve you of your responsibilities. Your responsibilities are still there. The problems exist now. So pull your weight and do your job. That is all I have to say for now.
Thank you so much, Mercy. OJ Styles, you were cut off earlier. What would you like to say? Who else is here?
Yeah.
Who's on board?
I'm on board.
How are you, sir?
I'm fine. How are you? It's a nice topic for the young mind to be selling Malaysia. Yeah, you should not feel very sad. You know, in life, it's better to do something than doing bad thing. What I can tell, what the problem which we have, I think, the whole Africa, including Zambia, is the background of our education. Our education, we were only told that after you finish your school, is go to office. I think apart maybe from Nigeria and so on, but most of the African countries, when you finish school, you have to be in office. So I encourage all the youth to be innovative. I know about those Jake's Fair, but when I look at them, they don't have impact. You should see how something can happen. Like I was just going through yesterday about the same topic you bring about the Malaysia. If you look at these those sawdust mills in Chichele, if you're going to the Koa Belt, all over, those things are wasted. But when I look at YouTube, whatever, I saw there are machinery which can make those sawdust into charcoal. So the same boy, when he was doing those trade of charcoal, he was supposed to think of, this is a waste of resources. How can I solve this issue of waste resources? Because we know there are a lot of donors or organizations who are looking at environmental issues. So if you come up with an innovative idea, how to solve environment, you can get funding. Even if you're not registered at the NGO, but your idea is something which can solve environmental problem. So what I encourage all the youth, yes, let's look for employment, but also let's come up with innovative. Before you sleep, start thinking of an idea. Okay, how can I turn this waste into money? One day you can come up with something. That is on part of the youth. So let's be innovative to come up with something. Let's not just go on Facebook, Google, or YouTube, hearing to the songs. See a lot of topics and so on. Then come up with the idea and look for funding. There are no that can help you. On the side of the government, it's true. All this problem is because of the corruption I've been talking about. If you see, there are some families from the last born up to the first born are having a big jobs in big companies. Yeah. How possible is that? Then the neighbor, poor George, no one. So that one is there. So it's an issue of our office for anti-corruption. Are they doing a proper work? Or we have closed our eye? And on the same issue, I cannot only blame maybe the people who are rich. I remember one girl, I met her one day. She was joking, how did you get this job? No, Papa, Papa at the church, Papa is a pastor at the church. He's the one who talk to the friend. So this corruption is all over. Go to church, there's corruption. You go to where there's corruption. So even us, as citizens of Zambia, we should try to avoid, to stop corruption. Because the more you give money, you go for the interview for the police, and recruiting police, the boys are given money to go and pay there to be on the line. You go for teaching services, you have to pay. So if you pay, I remember there's one stream I was watching on Al Jazeera. This girl, she did a very good job. There is this lecturer or professor who was sleeping with the girls. So she did a good job. Wow. She went to one of the donors. They gave her a recording pen. She went to that professor. I think it's on Al Jazeera. There's that movie. And that's so I can appreciate this youth. If you want to be a good citizen, go to Transparent International. Okay. That guy has told me that I should give you my rights. Do you have something which I can record him? Record him. Then publish that person. That's how we can fight corruption. But if we are just giving in, you're not reporting, because corruption, we should have evidence. Now, if there are no evidence, it will be a song which are going to be singing and so on. So if somebody tells you, okay, you want to be a teacher, bring 10,000, agree, yes, I'll bring. Behind, you have got something to record that person.
Okay, I know.
Yeah.
Yes, so that way we will be exposing people. That's what you mean, rather than just giving money. If somebody tells you bring money, you give them, but you record it. More like the way they do it in Ghana. And I've just read a comment here by Shebi. She's saying that officers at CEEC will ask youths to submit proposals, and thereafter, after they read your proposal and discover that it's really drafted, they will simply steal your idea and give it to their family members. What would you say about that, Gigi Diaries? How are you?
Hello, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm
How
fine.
Is everyone?
We are all
I'm just listening in the
welcome.
background. Thank you very much.
Welcome to
Thank
this
you
live
so much.
stream.
What's
your contribution, darling?
Okay, my own contribution is that, look at it this way. There are no jobs in Zambia. And the fact that people have to pay something to get jobs, I think it has become a norm. And people know it. For real, this is something that always happens. I don't know. Like, people think, people think it's normal. My mom, the day before yesterday, was telling me I'll have to pay the debts so much. Like, really, seriously, you have to pay 10,000 in order to get a job? You are qualified, you know, things like that. So for people, it has become like it's the new normal. You get. It's like the government is not doing anything. Nothing at all is being done about. Nothing at all is being done. But thank God it has come to people's realization, and now they are beginning to take the right step in the right direction. So the best for us is so the best thing for us is to know that this is wrong, and we just report to the right people and do the right thing, because in the end we are getting affected. Even in my sister, I have a sister, she's a radiographer. She said, no, I have to pay. Can you get me 10,000? I have to pay this person. Like, seriously, where do you get that 10,000 from? Can't the same person give you that job and then you repay them later?
No, don't
you understand?
You're encouraging.
No, that's what I said. It's believe me, it's now. Yes, it's now that I'm beginning to think that this is not normal. You get? Then that's what I said. But now I don't think it's right because the youths know it. Everyone know it. This is not right. Because we have so many graduates. Like this 10,000. This person has been paying 10,000 per semester to get to pay for her education, and now she has to pay another 10 to get a job. Like what? Now she's here. Yes. She's plating hair. A graduate with 2 different courses, purchasing and supply. In the end, you end up selling charcoal and whatever. You end up plating hair. People plait hair, people sell charcoal, and they do whatever little businesses that they do, not to their liking, but there are no jobs. There is corruption. You have to pay in order to get a job. You have to pay. I wonder in the near future if at all we won't be paying in order to go ku labor and kanyoko. Kuma labor wards ngatatu akaralipira nomba pakwata abana.
You pay for everything.
Ati wali kwete fumo walalipira.
You pay for everything.
You pay.
No, but even if you for you to jump the queue in the hospital, you pay. You go there. They will tell you you have to pay something.
To the clinic, I was sick. So I said, that was by the time, the time I was waiting. I felt ill. I went to the clinic with a sick note. Then they told me, no, you have to give us 50 kwacha. I said, no. I've gone through these tests. Me, I have malaria. I've tested positive for malaria. But why would I pay? For what? 50 kwacha for what? 50 kwacha for what? Me, already I'm sick. This is positive. Pay for what?
Yeah.
So we have wrong people. I'm telling you, we have wrong people.
It's not easy. It's not easy.
It's not easy. It's not easy. And in the end, people will resort to stealing. People will resort to doing wrong things. You get? Nalimwonapo kondakito mulusaka wafuma kuunza ule chishamala shabako bwino kwaliva kuunza kondakita so ngati achifunye ekisungu apo kondakita so imwe natusala buka erivine mani
Zephaniah, how are you?
I'm okay, madam. How are you?
Zephaniah.
Yes, madam.
Now sit up now. You're making us sit upright. Please sit upright.
Yes.
You're a man. You have to be strong.
Yes, madam.
What's your contribution?
Now, just to add on
What's your
what
contribution?
my sister was saying over. I'm saying just to add on what my sister was saying over employment in Zambia. For sure, there are no employment in Zambia because you find someone who completed in 2005, 2002 is not working, and someone who has just completed like this year and then gets a job because of connection.
Yeah.
So how are we going to be employed if we don't have connections? That's a time whereby you find someone working in a wrong place. Hello? Yes, madam.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. We can hear you. It's obviously sad, but we've been told that the guy got a job now, but we are speaking for the others. Obviously, there's loads of people with no job opportunities who may have faced him in the same situation. What would you say about that? Oh, he's gone off. Okay. Michael, are you there? I can see Michael. Mr. Chongo.
Yes.
Mr. Chongo or Michael?
Everyone here.
Good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's sad. It's look at this person is looking for employment, but is told to bring 10,000.
Speak up, Mr. Chongo. Speak up.
Yes. This person is looking for employment, but is told to bring 10,000. But if he had he would have invested into another business to earn more money. But looking for employment because this person doesn't have money. So it's quite like I don't know. Okay. When you look at this person, this man who was selling charcoal, a university graduate, but selling charcoal.
Yeah.
This is a test to say but does it mean that everyone to get employment, then you have to be spotted by someone, maybe you go viral on social media, that's when you get employment. So the government has paid attention to that man because he has gone viral now. The people are aware of his status. Now they want to silence the people by employing this person. How about those who do not have an opportunity to go viral and to be heard that they have no employment? It will mean that those people will die in poverty, which is very dangerous. So the government is not doing enough. The government will not doing enough and will continue fighting with the youth in this way because if you prioritize your youth, it will mean that youth will, at a certain point, they will have to rise up against you. I'm telling you, if someone is hungry and you have food, you don't want to give that person food, don't be surprised when that person rise up against you or do something harmful to you because that person is really hungry and needs food. So we need employment, but the government is watching on us, suffering in streets, selling charcoal, involving into some, others go stealing. Meanwhile, they have these papers which can make them earn maybe like acquire a good job in government, But you know, when you go in government systems, you find old men who are in their 60s, 65. They are still holding positions. But young, energetic men and women are there in the streets selling charcoal. This has to change. And this has to change now. This is the point where we do not really want to request the government now, but we are demanding the government, please do something. We really need employment.
Hello, we've lost Mr. Chongo, I think, with signal. Please, when you are on the live stream, can you mute your volume if you're not speaking, because it disturbs others who are on the live stream.
Yes.
Hi, OJ. What
Yes,
would you
lady,
like to
hi.
say?
Yeah.
I'm trying to find who's making
Somebody's making.
Someone is talking somewhere.
Michael.
Can I talk now? I think. Yeah. So
yeah, you speak. Yeah.
like I was saying, I was giving statistics in Zambia. When you look at the sectors from where people can get employed from, we only have civil service, mining, and private. Now, I'll talk on both the government part and the citizen part. Now, is that in the civil service, as at now, the retiring age is just too high. That's one thing that you should understand. Then, two, there's no diversification in the economy. So we just have limited sector. Not everyone can be employed in government or in the mines. So this is something that brings us back to leadership. And when you look at also Kadaism is something that is rampant in Zambia, that you can't even run about it. These guys in these offices who are occupying such position are cadres. A cadre can get a job, whilst a qualified or a graduate can be just mushrooming in the streets. Then the other thing is corruption. Corruption is there, and it's sad that because a lot of people are suffering, we try to embrace it as if it's something normal. It's because you try to look at how you've suffered, how you've stayed so many years just home doing nothing. So if someone offer you to say, okay, I'll give you a job, give me something, you try to encourage that, but not knowing that you are destroying our country. So when we say these issues that you are addressing and the cry for the cry that we have as youth to fight unemployment, it's because of leadership. Take a look at the things which are happening. The government overborrowed, and a lot of stakeholders rose to say, you've overborrowed. Where are you taking this money? Those money they were borrowing were not for investment. Had it been for investment, something they would have viewed something that can benefit us Zambians. So imagine now we are talking of paying $5 million for restructuring. When you get that 5 million, how many youth can be employed in the civil service? We can have a lot of teachers. The other thing, when you look at this story which is going around about the procurement of drugs, that's $17 million to a that is not even known. So you see how corruption is.
Yeah, the drugstore.
Imagine the drug is affecting the country. That amount is so huge to enable citizens to get, but that's not the case. So in as much as we might not try to politicize this movement, but we need to understand that the problem that we are undergoing is as a result of poor leadership.
Yes.
People need to plan. You know, in a position, in a leadership position, you need to plan. What other sectors can we open? Because, like I gave a statistic earlier, the employment this time has grown up to 18. Look at the provincial sectors. You can't all get employed either in Lusaka or Copper Belt. These cities are mushroomed. So what's government doing about in Western Province, Eastern Province, Southern Province? What's there? A long time ago, you might laugh at Kaunda. Though I don't agree with other people that tried to demean Kaunda, so he didn't do anything. But in Kaunda, we had provincial that had factories and manufacturing. Those are the same thing that created employment. But in this case, what do we have? Lusaka and Copper Belt and everyone expect to be employed. These are some situations where you're having people who graduated 10 years ago. They're still mushrooming street, no jobs. And whom can you blame? It's the leadership. Because people need to plan. Leaders need to plan and see how best they can uplift the standards of us youth. Then the other thing, go now on the perspective of us youths. The thing that you should understand now is not everyone can get a job. Yes. So for me, that story for that person who was selling charcoal is very sad. He's a graduate, but it's not something you can laugh about because that person has used initiative. The other thing that is killing us youth is that because you have a paper, you are just waiting to get a job. Very hard. There are no jobs. But again, on the government parts, there's no support. When you try to give an analysis of how you can run a business, this time it's very difficult. Our currency has no value. Cost of living is high. Cost of doing business is high. Fuel is high. Everything is high. And where would one get the capital to empower himself to run a business? Nowhere. I heard that comment when you were talking about CEC. CEC only cadres get loans there. You cannot get a loan. You just give it and go and get the loan. Only a fraction of those that get loans are during campaigns, if you are lucky, because they try now to
include everyone.
But it's not the case. Then how do we survive? It's very difficult. That try to do online business, you have small capital. How do you do online business? The exchange rate is high. It's very difficult. Even if you need to start transporting fish from Western Province, bring to Lusaka to Copper Belt, how do you do that? Transport cost is very high. What are you going to do? Nothing. And when you have small capital. So in whatever, there's also a big role that government plays in as much as in the formal sector and informal sector. So we are really in a mess. What's the solution to this? We need to diversify.
There's Judas. Judas.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm getting you.
Oh, okay. Because sometimes people will be there. Would you like to say anything, Judas? Would you like to contribute anything, Judas?
Yes, are you getting me?
Yes, we can hear you,
Yeah. Employment. Let me talk about employment as well as transfers of civil servants. These things are entitlements. These are entitlements that people do not need to pay for. Don't need to pay for these things. I remember at one time, late President Michael Sata said, if a parent bought a bag of meal for a family, he doesn't deserve to be praised for that because that is what is expected to do. So, as youths, we need to get employment without paying anything because that is what we are entitled. It's a right, so to say. We have the right to be employed because we qualify to get employment. So we don't need to pay. And when it comes to transfers, we don't need to pay somebody to get transferred from where somebody is, maybe to go and join a husband or to go and join a wife. We don't need to pay because we are entitled to that. Then the other thing that I would like to talk about is maybe the environment in Zambia for doing business. Could be it small or big, it's not conducive enough. Much as not all of us would like to be employed, but certain other gentlemen, certain other ladies would like to do business on their own. But again, the environment itself is not conducive for doing business. Like my brother there was saying, the exchange rate, if you are depending on online businesses, some gentlemen have stopped buying cars from second-hand cars from Japan because the exchange rate is too much. It's too much. They can't afford, even when you buy. You see, this is why there is too much overpricing in Zambia of things. Why? Because when you get something, you might get it at a reasonable price, but because you want to come and make a profit in Zambia, you want to overprice, and then people would think that you are being expensive, you are exorbiting them, and yet it's because the things you are buying, the goods you are getting into Zambia are coming from abroad, are coming overseas, where foreign exchange is involved, and when those things come into Zambia, you expect to make a profit. And what do? You overprice. And in the actual sense, it's not even overpricing. It's because you want to realize something out of your business. So the environment, so to say, is not conducive for youths, for anybody to do business in Zambia. That's what I would like to contribute.
Yeah, and obviously we know that, we've said it, you need connections in Zambia. I've done videos on my YouTube channel talking about Lusaka City Council, where my whistleblower, told me that even for you to be deployed to another place, you need to pay like 3,000 kwacha or 5,000 kwacha. And then they have what you call ghost workers who just sit down there and they don't work. And, it's a shame when you see all these things happening. Yes, we can cry for unemployment, but the question is, are we willing to work hard as individuals?
Can I come in? Hi, Lily, can I come in?
Yeah, come in. You can speak. You can speak. Oh, signal has gone. Okay. Mercy, are you still here?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. If you want to contribute before we finish our stream, just to allow our people that want to come and watch at least to spend at least an hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to
Would you like to say anything?
Yes, there's something I forgot to mention. We were talking about education, where there's a problem of graduates not getting employment. But I also wanted to remember another group of Zambians that we forgot. It's those who don't have access to education because of their circumstances. There's stories of people who've either lost their parents or the main person who supports them. So they've gone to school and then they don't finish. They just go like halfway into it. What is the government doing to help those people? Because those are the ones who suffer. And then there's also people who finished secondary school. They want to go to university, but they're poor. But they're really intelligent. They get really good grades. Those people are left behind. What is the government doing to help them? What programs and policies and structures are in place to make sure that these people are not left out? Because it's very unfair for someone to work hard in school, have a dream, have this vision, and they want to get a good job. So they work really hard, get good grades, but they can't go to university. So they don't even stand a chance. So I would like to know, can the ruling party, the current regime, would they come out and say what they have done for these people? Can they defend their record on this for however many years they've been ruling for in the country? Can they defend that? Maybe let's not even go too far back. Have they done anything in the last 12 months to improve lives for these people, or in the last 3 years? Can they say that? They probably can't. So this is another situation. I think also on on the issue of other people, someone said, oh, this person got a job because their video went viral, so they've been offered a job by government. Please, anybody else who's going through this would like to hear your stories, please come out and let us know. Anyone who hasn't found a job, please come out and let's share this. If that's what it takes for the government to find opportunities for you to hire you, then that's what will happen. But please come out, because this is what they're trying to do, to silence the voices of the people. So if you've finished school, university or college, you can't get a job, come out, tell your story, would like to hear from you. And if you couldn't finish education because your circumstances changed, you don't have money, please come out, tell your story. Would like to know what the government did for these people. If they will come out and claim that there are opportunities for them, they haven't taken advantage of those. Please come out, government. Let us know where these people can go so that they can get help. Please come out and defend your record. So that's what I wanted to say on that.
Thank you so much, sis. I doubt very much. I've got an auntie who's an amputee from the time she was a baby, and literally from the artificial leg she's ever needed, crutches. It's always been my dad, my family that has always done that for her. The government don't take responsibility, unfortunately. Even with regards to orphans, street kids, we rely on donors. Though, you know, like, why I complain about certain things is because I've seen countries like Namibia, which are in Africa, which give a small allowance to orphans. You know, it's in Africa, but they give, is it 300 rands a week or something small, but at least it can buy food. You know, it can buy food. And then I think they don't pay school or anything, as long as you're registered as an orphan. So all those things, we can definitely do them. It's just that whoever is in charge, they don't put that as a priority. When we look at, you know, how can we have Lusaka minister, we have Lusaka mayor, we have, in one place, all these people are receiving salaries. Lusaka is not that big, you know. We have MPs of different constituencies, and everyone is on a huge salary. If you listen to what that gentleman was saying, he was talking about auditing. You know, if we can audit the lifestyles, you would be shocked as to how people are spending our money. Whoever is in place, even if I say this on my live stream, I was like, that's why I really want Mr. Hakainde Hichilema to come here to tell us what he wants to do for Zambia. By the way, he'll be on my live stream very, very soon. What he wants to do for Zambia, because we, the Zambian youths, you know, we are worried. Because it will be the same thing. Year in, year out, we'll come back again and do live streams and talk. We don't want to do that. We want this to be done once and for all. What is he going to implement as a leader? What is Kambwili planning to implement as a leader? What is Mr. Harry Kalawa planning to implement as a leader? And then we will sit down as a youth and agree to say, okay, I think we agree with this one. And if you remember, we had a live stream with Dr. Mumba. I think somebody suggested that they need to sign an agreement to say this is what they're going to do for the young people. A lot of departments in Zambia are struggling, you know, be it, you know, kids who are homeless, orphans, elderly people with learning disabilities, or, you know, be it physical, people with mental health problems. So many areas that need to be covered, that, you know, if you look at them, you're like, okay, you need money to be able to access a certain level of healthcare in Zambia. And that shouldn't be the case if you're a taxpayer. Why should you pay tax and then pay for another medical insurance and then pay this and then pay this and then pay this? And you find yourself paying so much money, at the end of the day, you're left with nothing. How are you, Uncle Mori? Hello? Hello? Hello, Uncle Mori. I've seen Uncle Mori here. How are you? I think he's been trying to connect for some time now. Let me put him on. Yeah, because he's been coming on and off, on and off. But maybe it's just the connection. Maybe,
bad connection. Yeah, no, I agree with you completely. Yeah. I agree with you. I mean, also the candidates in the opposition, I think we need to ask them, what are they going to do about transparency? Because right now, the Zambian government is not transparent with the transactions that they're entering with the Chinese. There is no transparency. We don't know what's going on. And these stories that we're hearing about the purchases that don't make sense, there's no transparency. So whoever is coming in next, because we don't want a situation where you get you elect a new party in, and then they go to do the same thing as the previous government. So we need to know what are they going to do. Even if they don't sign a particular plan of what they're going to achieve, I think life has changed now. We have social media, we have cameras, you know, record these people and play it back at the next campaign. Look at what's happening in America. One leader will say, oh, I never said that. You just have to play it back instantly and you can expose their lies. So we'd like to know whoever comes in next, what are they going to do to get rid of the oppression that Zambians are suffering at the hands of the Chinese investor who is dodgy? What will they do? We know it's a problem that exists. What will they do? The current government, we can't ask them what will they do. They've had plenty of opportunity to sort that. The only question we should be asking them is, can you defend your record on that? And based on your record, do you think we should elect you? Obviously, the answer is no. But whoever is coming in next, everyone needs to be held accountable. Also, what are they going to do about people who've committed crimes? If they say a new government comes, what are you going to do about the fire trucks? We need transparency on that. The current government is not going to expose that. But you who's coming next, what are you going to do about the bicycles? Because Zambians need answers. When we get rid of the current corrupt government, we need to know, are you going to hold these people accountable? Because obviously there's fraud involved. You can't justify the purchase of bikes at that amount of money, 700 something thousand US dollars. You can't justify it. So we need answers on that. The current government won't give us answers, but would like answers from you, who is going to appoint someone to investigate. Well, we need answers on that. And people have to pay for their crimes. These people who think they can get away with stealing money from the government, seize their assets. Seize their assets, because they've spent their money on something, seize their assets. So they must pay. This is how people are going to start behaving and going to be respecting the law. Hold them accountable. They must pay for their crimes. The money that they stole, bought, paid for houses, those miracle houses that no one has claimed, seize them. They'll be government owned and start giving them out to people. People have to pay. If you have to hang, someone dies, you have to hang a coat in the cell. That coat of theirs will serve the sentence. But they need to be held accountable, and they need to pay for their sins, their wrongdoings. We need to know, will you go after these?
As for that one, I wouldn't worry much, because definitely, because, you know, right now everyone is just quiet. But once the current government is no longer in power, in position, you will see a lot of, in fact, people will start slapping themselves to say, why did I even vote for them? You know, a lot of things will be revealed. Thank you so much, Brother Felix and Brother Tembo. Please contribute. I'm just going to check. Brother Felix, Brother Moore, if you can continue contributing, let me just check on the door, and then, carry on. How are you, Brother Felix?
My contribution is, you have to understand that governance is a business. When we put in the chief executive officer, who is the president.
Speak up, sir. Mr. Tembo, speak up louder.
It is very important that you know that governance is a business. When we choose a leader, he has to be able to manage all the business, which is controlled by the country. So education is the lifeblood of each and every country. So you must prepare for finances on how you are going to be able to create employment to those people as they graduate from their respective universities or colleges. It's very, very important. As a country, we have enough resources. What we are facing is lack of prioritization in Zambia. Education is very important and resources should be prioritized so that they can benefit even the poor. We have enough industries. For example, I can tell you mining industries are employing over 10,000 people. For example, Konkola Copper Mine. But the big question which you are supposed to ask yourself is that part of the labor force there is Indian-based. The Chinese are bringing their own people who are employed as first priority. So my advice is, what labor laws are there in Zambia to protect the local people so that they can be engaged and given jobs as they graduate? We have doctors and as well as nurses and teachers. They are graduating from universities or colleges, but it's becoming difficult to have them employed. And the demand for labor has always been there, but we are not producing as a country. So if we can also reduce on the importation of various products so that we can inject the financing into local industries, as well as our own governance to be able to have a direct or deliberate policy, which will help create employment, is also a very important welcome thing which we should be able to do for our country. So I should advise that there is a deliberate policy on job creation. As you can remember earlier, the government has said it will create 500,000 jobs for the locals. So the question for you, the youth, you have to ask the government is, are those jobs being satisfied? Are the people being given these jobs? And if not, what is the deliberate policy within this short time which they have before the election? What kind of job opportunities are you looking at? Or what kind of opportunities are there? For instance, we have God which has come on the scene. So God is an opportunity for Zambia to redeem itself and process. I'm speaking from the mining background because I'm a metallurgical engineer. It's very cheaper to produce gold than is to produce copper in processing business. So I believe Zambia has been doing gold mining since 1920. So meaning that each and every copper mine in Zambia is a gold mine. So this is an opportunity for us to revamp our economic position, economic independence, to create more jobs for our local students who are graduating, so that there is enough financing for road construction and other things. So also on construction as a country, we are losing a lot of money in bituminous road. There's an opportunity to use concrete roads or concrete tarmacs because we have cement plants and aggregate mining units in the country. So why can we not use our local people to keep the money in the country so that we can create more jobs? Those are the things which are supposed to do as a government. So that was my advice which I had. Thank you.
Hello, Lily.
Yeah, hi. Just carry on. Just carry on.
Yeah, there's something that I would like to say in conclusion.
Okay.
Especially in connection with what my brother has just talked about concerning the deduction on importation of goods. On that one, for me, I would say at the moment it's not possible. The reason being, we have not yet industrialized our country, Zambia. Yes. How do we stop? How do we minimize on the importation of goods when we do not have industries in our country? And the other thing that I would like to talk about is the comment that has just gone by Natasha, which says everything in Zambia is overpriced.
Oh, okay,
the reason
commenter?
for
Okay.
Yes, the reason for overpricing of goods in Zambia is as a result of instability of our economy. Let me talk about the exchange rate between Zambia, our currencies, Kwacha and other foreign currencies. The rate is not stable. You don't know what the rate will be tomorrow. So if, for example, you bought goods in Zambia, you want to buy something overseas, You don't know what the rate would be tomorrow. Today it is at 10 kwacha per dollar. Maybe tomorrow it will be 15 kwacha. The other day it will be 20 kwacha. So when you bring in your goods, you'd like to overprice because you are not so sure what the current the rate will be the day that comes. The following day you don't know it. There is so much uncertainty in terms of our economy. So that too is a contributing factor to overpricing in our country. So the economy needs to be stabilized. It needs to be set, and people need to have the confidence in our economy for them to price things accordingly and honestly. But as long as there is that instability in terms of our economy, the overpricing will keep on going just like that. And finally, it is about industrializing our country. That is when we will see the reduction in the importation of goods. Thank you.
That's true. That's true. It's because Zambia is a landlocked country, and we've relied on things from outside. So by the time the things come to Zambia, we have to pay lots of taxes. I send my goods to Zambia every time, and I know what I've been paying. It's not easy. So you can't expect me to sell something that I sell £10 in the UK to be £10 in Zambia. I have to add a little to cover for the taxes, because everything is imported anyway. So we need to do a video one of these days to talk about the Mulungushi textiles and other industries in Zambia, just a focus-based video, because I know that these were industries that offered employment opportunities to Zambians. Even the Ego bicycle plant as well. There's a time when the jeans, the pair of jeans that people wear, Zambia, I think, was the second largest producer of stonewashed jeans. But now, where are we? Everything is closed. We are so behind. But then any person who comes in governance now, we expect this person to do something better. But for as long as we don't talk about these issues, we don't table these issues, it'll be the same cycle every time. Like I've said, even if it's Harry Kalaba that comes in today, because of that attitude that's already there and certain policies are not in place, we'll repeat ourselves to something else. Okay, Brother Felix, what's your contribution before we close? And Brother Tembo and Judas, and then we close.
When it comes to industrialization,
Okay.
as you know,
Good evening.
Zambia is an industrialized country. It has produced before. What is prioritize what is coming in the country. We can only provide enough labor to our people.
You can speak up. You can speak up.
We can only provide enough labor to the people if we are able to industrialize our nation. One is to start from there. We have to re-engineer and redesign. The processes are already there. We made it after 1964 when we had the first republic. So we need to provide simple things like wigs for the women. They are earning. We are wasting a lot of money per year on that. We can do it locally. And cosmetics, we can produce. We have enough chemical engineers and chemists who can do that work. Mining can also do other byproducts such as cables, so that we can reduce exporting everything from other countries. Provided we are going to continue exporting, importing from other countries, it will be very difficult to have enough labor market for our people. It's only through production and owning the products. A good example is Trade Kings of the group of company. It has done it. It has shown us that they are able to produce and employ. Trade Kings today is employing a labor force of more than 6,000 people, and those are Zambian people who have those jobs. And that is a very good plus. So if we can have 10 or more of those people who are doing that in Zambia, we'll have more. There is no way we can be importing a shoe, a trousers. Those are simple things which can be done by Zambian. So it is on being Zambian, eating Zambian, producing Zambian, that will be able to go forward as a country. That's when we have more jobs, even to import people to come and look for us. But provided we are not going to produce anything, then it will be very difficult, because the kind of governance which has been in Africa now is it's by tendering everything from Middle East, Europe, or Asia. We can't produce anything apart from eating the meal which we produce ourselves, and we are unable to produce because we can't give the farmers farm inputs on time. So I'm talking this because I'm someone who has produced before in Zambia. I don't stay in Zambia right now, but we have been there and we have produced before. Okay, and we have done projects which you are benefiting from. Yeah. So I'm talking from a perspective whereby I contributed to the thermal power plant project at Mamba Collieries, and I'm one of the few Zambians who have developed a mine from scratch with my team in Lusaka, which produces iron ore mining under Trade Kings. We produced that mine. All the finances were done locally. So if I see some individuals in Zambia coming up to say Zambia has got no manpower to process gold, that's a lie, because I am a metallurgical engineer. We do those. Zambia has got experts right there staying in Zambia who have proved to the world. And if you don't know, Konkola copper mine is the biggest copper mine in Africa. And they have also certain process system which work in Konkola, and globally the other mines are learning from Konkola. They are learning from Mopani. So it is very naive for leaders to come and say that Zambia hasn't got the right manpower. No, the manpower
expertise.
We are working wherever we are globally. We are doing it. Why can't we fail to do it? So the only opportunity when Zambia will develop is when we treat each other with respect. Let's break the tribal background. Let's work with one voice. Then the country will go forward. There is no way a few people who are less than 200 can be enjoying the budget alone. No, let's also allocate funds for the schools, for the hospital. There is no way Zambia can be importing drugs for HIV. We have enough chemists. We have enough herbalists there. They can come together. What is the chemical content of the drugs? We can produce them in our country. They're importing Vaseline from Africa. Is that what you can tell me, sir?
We can make all those things in Zambia.
The Zambian today only speaks English. That's all, and goes to church, which is okay. But when are we going to be self-independent? Those are the things which I'm asking you.
Thank you so much, sir. Your contribution is very valid. Brother Felix, what would you like to say?
Hello, good evening.
Yes, how are you? How are you, brother? It's frozen. Hi, F8 Martins from Nigeria. How are you? How are you? Sis, how are you? Hello? F8 Martins, how are you?
Hello, Lily.
Hi, Sis Lily. Good evening from Nigeria.
Yeah, good evening from thank you so much. F8 Martins is also a YouTube channel.
Everyone seems to be cutting,
Yeah, let F8 Martins speak a bit because she might cut off from Nigeria. How are you, sis? What's your contribution?
I'm very well, thank you. So I've been following this stream from when you started, and this is a very good one. I must commend every other commentator or every other contributor that has made comments so far. It's it's surprising that I think this is starting newly in Zambia, the country where I come from. To an extent, you no longer look at the opportunities to get from the government, because it's now to an extent it has become a norm that you graduate and there is no jobs. There are no jobs. We turn out hundreds of graduates every end of school year. Out of the, if I check statistically, I think less than 10% gets jobs. There are no jobs. So what we basically do, okay, it's so heartbreaking that I heard I heard one of the contributors say you have to pay. Was it police? I don't know, police pass
And
or something
any
to transport
department,
charcoal. You pay
Mm.
to transport charcoal within same city. That alone is going to
Yes.
make entrepreneurship very difficult in Zambia. But in as much as there are no
Yeah.
jobs anywhere and you can't keep staying at home, I think what we need to do is to look for things we can do by ourselves for ourselves. I saw the story of the Zambian who sells charcoal but now has been given a job, and then a contributor did say that maybe the job was to silence other people from speaking out. The thing is, there's this saying that I don't know if they say this thing in Zambia, but we say it in Nigeria. We say there is dignity in every labor. In as much as we can't keep waiting for the government or waiting for the private sectors to give us jobs, I don't want to talk about the Chinese jobs, because the Chinese jobs is as worse as you not getting a job in this life. I don't know. I don't even want to digress to the Chinese jobs in Nigeria yet. But what I would say is every single thing you find yourself doing, look at the bigger picture. When you talked about the guy that sells charcoal, what my mind went immediately was charcoal. Like, there are byproducts of charcoal. Currently in Nigeria, people import processed charcoal for brushing teeth. Look at the bigger picture. You sell charcoal. You have the license or you have the ability to sell charcoal. Do not dwell just in selling charcoal. What are those things you will mix to grinded charcoal? Because charcoal alone is a teeth whitener. Just that charcoal alone is a teeth whitener. But to make it package, I think they mix. I don't know those products they mix. Just think of the bigger picture. What do you package with your charcoal that you might not be able to just sell just locally, but export to neighboring countries close to Zambia? Although this is not coming to a basic individual. If you're just starting this business, basically you need capital. Capital is one of the most difficult things to get when starting a business in Africa, because nobody's ready to support you. The banks are not ready to support your business, because it's still something in your mindset. They need, okay, you that is starting a business might not have a collateral to give to the bank to give you a loan.
Yeah.
So first of all, you develop that business, and then you look at the bigger picture for that business. You don't just do that you're selling charcoal. You look at producing charcoal as a teeth whitener. You alone as a producer, you're going to be your marketer, you're going to be your wholesaler, you be your distributor. You have to distribute to maybe local shops within. And then look at, okay, in the next few months, I want to export to this country, this neighboring country, and that neighboring country. Same goes to the lady I saw. I think you did post a video like a week or 2 weeks ago about a lady that produces, a graduate who produces bread, who makes bread.
Bread, yeah.
When we call it bread here, I don't know what you call. I think called it buns.
Yeah, buns. We just call them buns.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I saw the picture of the lady who produces buns locally, I saw a bigger picture. Yes, it's so disgraceful that you graduate from a particular field, and then maybe you graduate from pharmacy, and now you find yourself making breads. Do not look at it like it's a disgraceful venture, or it's something you do not expect. That's the situation we find ourselves in the country where I'm calling from. I do not want to mention names, please. In the country where I'm calling from, you look at the bigger picture. Now we're not going to limit ourselves to just producing bread. How about supplying to not like local sellers around, local stores around, and then supplying to bigger stores? Maybe those, obviously, okay, let's forget the fact that these bigger stores are owned by some foreign individuals. You also look at the picture that supplying, not just producing it to yourself and supplying to local stores, supply to those bigger stores who have wider patronage. When you begin to do all of these things, more capital coming, and then you create jobs for not just yourself, but all those other local jobless people around you. You understand? By so doing, before you know it, there's the bigger picture of you becoming a producer, of you having your own bakery, bigger bakery, not just local bakery for just your community and all of those. I think that's my contribution here. Where I'm coming from, where I'm calling from.
Yeah.
We are used to the fact that there are no jobs. Like, when you're graduating from the university, you know that there is no job for you. Like, we already have a station in our mind that there are no jobs. So as you're graduating, you're thinking of what you can do for yourself, and at the long run, effect change to people around you and create jobs to people around you. So I think it's so sad that the system in Zambia is not giving an enabling ground for entrepreneurs to survive. But regardless, let us look at the bigger picture. Let's stop dwelling on thinking of the government, because it might take until 2021. I think that's the next election in Zambia. It might take until 2021 to effect change in Zambia. But until then, we can't sit back at home and fold our hands. Things has to be done. People have to be fed. Bills have to be paid. So this is my contribution on your show, sister.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And I understand, where you're coming from. And that's why I was like, no, in as much as the person is selling charcoal, it may not look like a good deal, but this person can think of expanding outside. But you won't believe that we have what you call cadres now in Zambia. I don't know if you have them in Nigeria. Cadres are people who campaign for the political party for them to get into power. And they're the ones who are getting contracts. So to export things as well, maybe, because they will you. It's ones. I'll send you a video to see what cadres we have. I hope that would be possible. It would be a good thing if people want and go elsewhere. Let me also bring Kwachangwe. Let me check who's at the door. Yeah, I don't know who's at the door. I'm supposed to be alone the whole day. Yeah, thank you so much, F8 Martins. It's if you've she said it's also looking at the picture, not just looking and saying, oh, should I be selling charcoal? In Nigeria, they are already used to entrepreneurship because they know that the government will never offer them opportunities. They know already. They know already. Hold on, let me check at the door. Carry on.
Yes, Uncle.
Hello, is that my turn now?
Maybe I wanted to say something before I can leave you with Madam Lady.
Yeah,
is that
go
okay
ahead.
with you?
That's fine, absolutely.
Yes. I want to close in with the issue of industrialization. You see, once upon a time, one kwacha was equal to £1. Why was that? The reason was that Zambia at that time had so many industries whereby we are able to produce, we are able to refine our own resources. As a result, we needed not to send them overseas in form of raw material. And that meant whoever wanted to our things would export them on demand. And if it's not on demand, then we'll keep them locally for local use. That can only happen if we have industries. And those industries in turn will create employment for our youths and many other Zambians or many other people in Africa. I think it's high time you watched a video, an interview that Econ, an anthropist, African-American, he did with Al Jazeera, where he said a lot of things about why it is wrong to say that Africa depends on the Western world. Instead of the Western world, it's the one that depends on Africa. But because of the manner in which we manage our resources, we've made it seem that we depend on the Western world. But this is the time. Now is the time for Africa to industrialize itself so that we can only be exporting things on demand. If not, then we'll keep those things to ourselves to use them locally, and we'll be able to create a lot of employment within Africa. But as long as we are not able to manage these resources, we are not united, we are not speaking in one accord, we are not honest with ourselves, we will always continue sending resources in raw material, whereby those people who get our things, our resources, will extract a lot of things from the things that we sell them at at a low price. Thank you so much, Uncle. I think you can continue with Madam B and the rest.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, we can say that for those who are older like myself, if we look back on the past 50 years, we've had glimmers of hope in terms of leadership. When we think of the late Lev Mwanawasa, he came into power at the very height when there was talks of corruption during the Chiluba regime. But Lev Mwanawasa began to change things in Zambia, and things started working well. There was hope for the most Zambians. That was very good because one of the fight that Lev Mwanawasa had was corruption. He fought against corruption, and we began to see a glimmer of hope. And then it's unfortunate that we lost our president, and then we had PF came in, as we saw with Microsat as well. He came in with the agenda of putting the Zambian at the forefront of the economy in terms of negotiating with the Chinese. He was very strong on that one. And we saw that when Michael Sata came in, there was also hope. People began to have a sense of pride in being Zambians because that's what it is. Because it takes the political will and management of resources for industries and businesses to flourish. But if you have a government that as I've always advocated, which are very much looking inward on the interests of their political party rather than on the interests of the consensus of the Zambian government as a whole, as a country. That's where you have a problem. And it's corruption is the greatest enemy for any development. I know that here in the West as well there's corruption, but it's not at the level at which we are seeing it in Zambia. When you look at you can have resources like we have resources, but if they're not well managed, no matter you can have oil, you can have gold, you can have cobalt, all the minerals. But if it's not well managed, people still will be poor. Look at countries like Congo DR, which is our neighbor. It's one of the richest countries in the world. But at the same time, it's also one of the poorest countries as well because of lack of management of the resources. When you think of countries, if you go the other side of the world, in Venezuela is one of the rich countries as well. They have oil. But today, because of poor management, poor government, Venezuela has become one of the poorest countries also in South America because of poor management of leadership. So the cry, if Zambia is going to forge ahead, there has to take a political will to develop a country. There has to take initiative on the people that are elected in power who have the interest and the love for their country. You know, this government of just trying to go into politics so that you enrich yourself, so that you become the big man and everybody begins to worship you because you drive big Benz and everything. That's not the kind of leadership that you need in a country like Zambia. Zambia is very rich in natural resource, but what we need is a government that will manage our resource and work within our means and negotiate from the point of our means. That's the only way that we're going to develop our country. Other than, I would say that there was a sister who was asking about the poor. In Zambia, the poor have no chance whatsoever to progress. There are so many people in Zambia, parents who have worked hard to improve the livelihood of their children by paying them through the ladder of education. But even then, they can't get jobs. Why? Because they don't have connections. That's how poor you can become in Zambia. Even if you are educated, as long as you don't know anybody on the other side of the elite, you not go anywhere. So your certificates are nothing unless you know somebody. This is how corruption destroys a country. And I can only say that if it has not been for the church in Zambia, the likes of the Catholic Church and other NGOs, I don't think Zambia would even be known. It would have been a mess, because I know some churches who are doing a very good job. They have set up schools like St. Joseph in Monze. I know it's a very well-known school. It produces very good students. They'll have like 50% students who are from the rich and 50% students who are from the poor, and that's how they give scholarships. That's how you develop. But in Zambia, the poor have no chance. That's the only thing. The poor are becoming more poorer, and the rich are becoming more richer. And the only way, if you're educated or you have an education, you need to go on the political ladder for you to climb up. And that's not the country. That's not what we're calling in terms of equality. We need a government that will manage the resources for the benefit of the whole country and not only for the benefit of political party. We need to overhaul the whole system so that corruption, people who are corrupt should be put to account, especially those people who are in public office. They need to be accountable for what they, I mean, where are they getting the money, like everybody has said, you know. Here in the UK, we've had MPs who have been put to court because they had two houses. They had to scrutinize, where did you get these two? Even tickets, where they have to buy tickets on the train, they have to account for those tickets. You know, when they're traveling, they have to bring the receipts and they account for their receipts. But in Zambia, you find that no, there's no real accountability, really. You know, so these are some of the things. There's a lot of secrecy. There's no transparency and honesty. And if people are going to have confidence, if people are going to have trustworthy in their leadership, there has to be honesty. They have to be faithful. They have to be seen to be transparent in the way they practice and the way they govern. But if there's secrecy, then there must be something. If you are a Christian, why should you be hiding? You know, so we need to overhaul the system, and corruption, honestly, corruption has to be dealt with. That's why when Mwanawasa came into power and fought corruption, that was the glimmer of hope that we had as Zambians. And so I think there's still hope for us as Zambians. So it will take political will for the nation to move forward, and this thing has to change. Otherwise, we'll end up being a laughing stock in the world. Mr. Abedi.
Okay, can I just come in just from there?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so basically when we see what's happening in our country, it's also something which is a challenge to the youths, because like where we have reached and the businesses that are there in Zambia, when we talk over the entities that are operating the companies that are in Zambia, most of them, if you are to look into them, you realize that they do not produce goods that can create job opportunities for people in the country. Most of the people now in Zambia, if they think of having a company or a business, most of them, you find them thinking of creating maybe schools, universities, in which it's a good idea, but we realize that if we have got main universities, where will those people work from? We are producing like a higher rate of people. Let's say, for example, teachers. We have got a lot of teachers in Zambia, but look at the number of schools that have been created by the government. You see that the numbers do not tally, and this doesn't mean that we do not need schools, but it's because the government is failing to build up schools so that even the number of those qualified teachers can carry out. If we can think of some few years back, a lot of teachers used to go to Botswana, teach in Botswana. But now looking at how the education system in Botswana has been improved by Zambian teachers, those people in Botswana no longer want Zambian teachers. So where are they going to go to? So basically, I think it's high time, and it's upon this time that the Zambian government has to rise and realize that whenever they have got resources, whenever they have got money, they need to create jobs that are going to sustain the Zambian people. They need to have jobs that are going to work better in refining the resources that we're having in Zambia. Because, for instance, if we are to think of the companies that we have in Zambia, you realize that most of those companies that are there and that are being set up in Zambia, they do not utilize the resources that our farmers are producing. So if we can talk of, for instance, if we are to speak of ShopRite, when you go there in ShopRite, you realize that most of their products are not coming from Zambia. Most of their products are being bought from South Africa, being taken from South Africa. So when you sit down, you think of a farmer who's producing his maize, or he is producing his tomatoes. Where is he going to take those tomatoes if the tomatoes that are being produced in Zambia are not bought by the companies that are in Zambia? So already from there, we begin to see that when it comes to agriculture sectors, the farmers are being oppressed. They're being pressed down because when they do not have a market, they don't have a quality market. The market which is there for farmers is a market that can give them changes. Think of a farmer who's coming from a rural area, takes his crate of tomatoes, they go to Lusaka, they go to Lusaka in one of the markets, maybe in Soweto. Those farmers, when they take their products, they are not allowed to sell their own products. But a farmer will carry a crate of his products. When they reach there, those cadres will be the ones to stand as middlemen and sell on their behalf. So basically, you realize that because of those middlemen, farmers, despite of having their own products, they do not have full rights of their products. Why? This is because the government, the atmosphere in which the government has been operating, it's not a conducive atmosphere that can create jobs. It's not a conducive atmosphere. The atmosphere we are in Zambia, it's a certain atmosphere that does not create any job. It can only create a job if there is the possibility for them to eat something. For instance, they got the Eurobond, and the question could be, what was that Eurobond being used for? Infrastructure. Are we going to make money on our roads? Perhaps some people can say, okay, yeah, we'll make money through the toll gates. Wow, that's good. So if we are making the money through the toll gates, how about the corruption which is there in the infrastructures that we are making? So you realize that the cost at which we borrow money and what we produce with that money that we have borrowed is very low. So it gives the Zambian youths now an atmosphere that they can't even penetrate, even if they want to do business. I can tell you today, if you are to take a survey and you go around the towns in Zambia, you realize that a lot of graduates, a lot of youths, you find them that they are having those MTN, Airtel, Zamtel mobile monies. They're the ones seated in those boats. And the question is, where would that money? Because if those youths who can produce, who can work, some of them, they are qualified agriculturalists, who can work and produce food in the nation. If they are being kept in a booth, waiting for money, waiting for a transaction, which they don't know. And when you look at the money, the circulation of the money that we have in Zambia, it's not circulating. Because richer people, when they have got money, they go and invest outside the country. Because they think that one day when we'll be kicked out of power, we need to utilize this money, which is outside the country. So basically, there is a highest level of hypocrisy in our government, and there is a need for the government to be accountable. And the problem is, even the same ministers, MPs that are there that we are supposed to look upon, they do not have morals. You can talk over the Minister of Religious, which in some other ways, some people, they say, no, it's a good thing that we have got a Minister of Religious. But the question is she vocal enough to hold those MPs accountable in everything that they are doing? You realize that even her, she keeps quiet. In her presence, people will be speaking issues that has to do with tribalism. She'll be comfortable and she'll never say anything. Let the opposition say anything contrary, you hear that's when she voices out. So even now, we really don't know, because the next thing, as we are counting down, soon they will be going for the day of prayer. And what are we going to pray for? I do not think that we need to pray when we need to work. There are two different things in the sequence. There is time for work and there's time for prayer. You do not just keep on praying and waiting for a miracle to fall from heaven. Even Moses, he cried to God and God told him, no, Moses, keep on going. You have to walk. So basically, the country in which we are in, it is being abused in the sense that people are using Christianity to win votes. And they, even the same people who are saying who claim to be Christians, they don't even understand what is Christianity. They don't even live the Christianity perspective and aspects and the demands of a Christian. So basically, we need a time when youths should rise up and hold each one accountable. We need a government that is going to make sure the Constitution is being followed and it implements the promises it gives to people, not people who stands the promises today, more money in our pockets. We wake up the day they are in office, we don't have money in our pockets. So basically, I think the government needs to be accountable in everything that.
Yeah. No, thank you very much for your contribution. Mr. Abadi, would you like to say add something?
I wanted to contribute. What is the roadmap? After we have done this discussion, my thinking was we have to have a roadmap and the way forward for the Zambian youth in terms of getting jobs and getting their place in the Zambian society. One of the most important thing you have to understand is that corruption is when two or more people sit to discuss on how they are going to manage the resources of the third part. And the third part happen to be the citizen. Who are the citizens? They are the youth. Why do they sit without them? One is because our youth have been sleeping for a long time. It's time now they should wake up so that they are also included in national development. So how do they do that? Through participation and making sure that whatever the leader promise them, they implement it. And if it means they have to sign the goals which they are promising the youth, that they will deliver, the youth should put them to tasks that they do deliver. If you do a certain analysis of Zambia, most of us are speaking that Africa or Zambia is blessed with natural resources. Yes, it is blessed, but it's very important that in order for you to create a job and to make your citizen educated, it is important that you plan effectively for your resources. Development does not happen in a single day. It involves planning. So when you say there was Lady Mwanawasa, the economy was good, sometimes it takes environmental, economical well-being of that particular time. So what is happening in my in this addition is look at the way the PF government has done it during their time and the space. They have made mistakes. They borrowed more money, which was not used to good use. When you borrow to generate more and create more jobs and opportunities for your local people, which they did not do. Then second is the priorities such as contracts, jobs, they are not given to the locals, they are given to the Chinese, because a Chinese investor, when it comes to Zambia, it doesn't come to develop Zambia. His first interests are Chinese interests. That's the most important thing you should know. Even when Americans come there or the Germans come there, the German or American interest will be the first thing. So it is high time Africa or Zambia wake up. There is no way Chinese or America will come to develop our country. That will never happen. Okay? The moment the European came to Africa, they gave us the Bible. From there, we have not organized ourselves enough strength to develop our own country. It's high time the youth have to put work. It's only through work Zambia will develop. Academics is very important, but the most important thing is you have to work. Make your leaders work. You cannot develop a country if you are not giving a country enough electricity. It's not possible. You cannot develop a country if people don't have jobs. It's not possible. It's not feasible at all. Our population is only 18 million.
Mm.
And our resources, they are outpassing the population. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is the population is manageable. We have resources with respect to a given area. For example, we have Luapula province. The most common resource there is manganese. But who is controlling manganese business here? There is no Zambian. It is run by Asians and Indians. So what policies is the government taking so that those business can be given to the youth, so that there's money in Zambia, so that we can produce the ferro manganese, we sell to trade kings, and the rest we can export. The Chinese around Great North Road, they are putting up plants for manganese. Why can't a Zambian why can't we produce our own manganese and process it? We can build our own furnaces. You don't need to go to university to build a furnace. Some things you can do them minus going to school. But what I'm saying is what environment is there in Zambia which the government is putting so that the youth can produce?
Yeah.
So those are the questions which we can ask ourselves. The other question which I'm asking you is, have you calculated in Zambia the amount of resource per unit person, or the cost unit? How much is a Zambian valued? What is the cost of one Zambia in Zambia with respect to the resources and Zambia as land? From there, if we can have those calculations tabulated nicely, then we can talk about development, because right now there's no statistics, there are no plans, there's no data, there's no metadata to help us develop as a country. This one will come to say this minister will say this other one will say this. But we need measurements. Measurements are very important. You can only develop from what you measure. You can only know what you measure. To know is to measure. And only through measurement is when Africa will develop. That is very, very important. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. Apostle Oscar, how are you?
I'm okay, and how are you?
You failed to connect the other day.
No. Yeah, the link was failing. You know, the networks here, they are not as good as they should be.
What's your contribution, sir? We're about to even end the stream. I had some visitors that came. How are you?
Okay. I'm okay. What I don't know even what I've just been this is just when I just connected. I wasn't following, but maybe if I'm given what we are talking about, then
okay, basically we're just talking about unemployment. We're just talking about unemployment, and there's a graduate from Zambia that has been selling amala shachako. So we're just talking about, unemployment and the opportunities in Zambia. And we had some contributors from different places, and we had a Nigerian lady, Effet Martins, who said, she's looking at it as an opportunity for the person who's selling charcoal to think of making toothpaste to export out there. Yeah. So what would you say about, employment opportunities in Zambia?
I wouldn't say much, but I would just say that there isn't, to start with, there isn't employment. Any employment. I may sound blunt, but that's just exactly what is actually happening out here in Zambia. The first thing is there are no equal opportunities for each one. If there is no one or then you will have no opportunity to be even in any given system that may be operating per time. Otherwise, there is no employment might be there in some circles, you know what I mean, in inverted commas, but there are no equal opportunities provided. So there is a lot of, like I would say, there is nothing to talk to even talk about it. And I should say everything is not working, right from the local government, parastatals, especially in parastatals, it's even worse because it's all cadalism.
Yeah.
And you find that the space is like, you've people that are experienced, most of them are even retired on the what is so-called national interest, even if it's not national interest. So you find that the people that are experienced are out of the system. And so you find that a lot of things are crumbled and they're still continuing to crumble. Like I said the last time, I want to repeat the same words I said. You see, what we are experiencing today in Zambia has not begun today, neither has it started today or yesterday. It started right from 2016. What we are now experiencing are the result of the failure that was registered on that particular year, rather in that particular year, and the following month thereafter. So it's very unfortunate that even to get a bundle or even to charge your phone, very unnecessary load sheddings, and I mean, just nothing is, nothing seems to be working. So when we talk of employment, it's one thing that cannot even be, talked about. And I'm glad that my brother there, yes, he has even some courage to start selling charcoal, which seemingly may not be a very bad idea. That means to me that particular person is even innovative. But even that one, I'm sure him also has been followed by the so-called the forestry and what. So it's like we have no equal advantages, I should say, in many things. So as regards what is we might even call employment. I'm even afraid to hear the word employment in Zambia. It's rare that such a thing would actually even be mentioned, because even when an advert is placed in the newspaper, I stand to be corrected, if at all there would be that such a correction. It will just be a formality, so much that if someone is asked the other day, they'll be able to point out to say, no, they had put an advert in the paper, but just formality, they already have put who they know. Yes, they have already fused in the people in such positions, and then they put up something that will be a formality. And so that when they ask the next, they said, but we put up the advert, and people came. Sometimes you find that there's an interview going on. We have heard of people going for an interview, and you find that the people that were not even shortlisted are the ones that are there. Faces they do not even know. Like I said, that today the world is on the finger. Yes, let me just finish my last thought. It's
Thank
at
you
the
so much,
fingertip.
sir.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Okay. We have a guest, because obviously I didn't know what was going on, because I was sorting out some, we are business people. Better Days. I don't know if you've had a chance to speak. Please, sir, if you could speak. Better Days.
Okay.
Better Days. Better Days, can you hear me? Hello?
Hello?
Volume, sir. Yes, how are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Oh, really? I'm all right, thank you. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Yeah, just a quick just a quick contribution. I've been following you, and you are doing a great job.
Thank God, son.
I must say, close to Wachangwe, you've been featuring on every show, I'm sure, this time around.
Yes.
Now, my quick contribution is really, regarding the young man, a graduate who is selling, chat back home in Zambia. I followed this story, on a few platforms, with the Zambian YouTubers in Zambia offered the job.
Okay.
Is it true? I'm asking a question. Is it true that he has been offered a job?
That's what people are saying, yes, but I haven't heard from him. I sent him a message.
Yeah, so I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love him. I would love him to get in touch with you.
Yes.
And get, maybe, an interview, to give us his side of the story, because this is how corruption actually manifests.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now,
yeah.
Yeah. So if you remember, Dr. Mumba, when you had him on the show last, at the beginning of the week, he mentioned about this another graduate who basically was selling tomatoes and onions. So what happened to him? Because he has not been mentioned on your platform, so he won't get a job. But because this guy is being talked about now, you sort of like promoted him. So this is where this government should be accounted for, because really, it's not about them acting, or reacting after people have spoken. So, but where have they been all the time? I was watching a video, about the youth meeting yesterday.
Yes.
One of the boys, Tom stormed into that meeting, and he was trying to he was trying to ask them, why they were being addressed instead of the youths, holding the platform and asking questions,
Yeah.
So you can see that this government is not up to any good thing at all. So they are busy now, reacting instead of being proactive. So so for me, really, the fund for the youth be our P1 now. Maybe at the end of the program, if you can send me the the information for the app and everything else, so we can start organizing, in Manchester, for people to start contributing towards that. Yeah.
All right, sir. Yeah.
Yesterday, regarding regarding Mr. Lungu as well, this PF government, if we give them another chance, they will be like Burundi. Burundi, until this guy's death, they've really been trying to be like, a dictatorial, government. He's been changing things because, he was given all the power. And if we do allow, the Bill 10 to go through, I can assure you, Zambia will turn out to be like Burundi.
Yeah.
If you can imagine, the party itself, the Burundi party, the ruling party, had even given him, a title. He was from 2018. I was doing some research from 2018. They agreed that they were going to give him a term, calling him as the eternal supreme guide. Can you imagine such kind of nonsense?
Yeah.
Where's democracy in that regard? How would you call someone eternal supreme guide or permanent visionary? You mean there are no other visionaries around in the country like they used today in Zambia? I'm telling you, if we give these the thugs, the PF thugs, to go ahead and reign again after next year's elections, we're gonna be in the same problem like Burundi, because Burundi still have the highest poverty levels, 65, 70%. That's how bad it is. and you know, they were dancing for this guy. I mean, where's the, you know, where's the, you start wondering, you know, where people are getting all this authority and you know, it's not just about greed, you know. So for the youths, you know, let's raise funds for them, so that, you know, whether the police and everyone else, you know, gets them into cells or whatever, we should have adequate funds, you know, to get the best lawyers to fight for these jobs.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
That should be our target. That should be our target, you know, because these guys are not good at all. I was watching, you know, I was watching this great tool, you know, addressing taxi drivers today. Can you imagine, you know, a whole
well, you joined the great
tool clip, whole 25 minutes clip. He spoke nothing. He spoke nothing to how the taxi drivers were going to be helped. And it was all about Lungu. It was about Lungu and himself. And then you start wondering, you know, what sort of a government it is, you know, when they're addressing their own people, you know, they are talking about just what Lungu has done, and not about how they would want, you know, to address the issues in Zambia today. So for me, you know, Lily, you are doing a great job. Mr. Kwasangwe and the rest of, you know, the other people, contributors on the platform, you know, can we start, you know, getting the funds, you know, going now? I think that's the most important thing. You know, because now, we can see, you know, the government is against the youth and those people who are talking about, you know, how to progress our country, you know, in the positive way. So we should, you know, engaging the best lawyers. You know, make sure this is known and addressed, you know, by the youth back home in Zambia, that we are raising funds for them, in order to use that fund, the funds, you know, to engage the best lawyers to defend them. So I think, you know, that is my take, you know, for now. I don't know if I may come back and contribute some more. Thank you very much.
Okay, just now, as we've been discussing, a video has just come to me regarding the meeting that PF had right now, and they're saying they're going to go to villages, they're going to go everywhere. They want to mobilize as many people to vote. And I'm looking at Zambians who are struggling right now, who may be hungry, that will be fed, Pamela, they'll be given a bit of money, and they'll be bought through this situation. Because if you've heard, they are saying that people should register as voters in the month of October. So we have to do a separate live stream for that one. We'll do a separate live stream. Tomorrow people are going to church. What time do you think would be suitable for everyone for us to do the live stream tomorrow to talk about this?
6 is enough. It's good. I think 1800.
Yeah, 1800. Okay.
1800 hours to 1900.
Yeah.
To 1900. Yeah. So that's a separate stream, because I've already received all the information. Let's do this separately, because we want to keep our conversations focused, so that at least 2 hours we are done. So thank you so much for your contribution, Apostle, Mercy, Brother Felix, Kwachangwe, Brother Timo. We will meet again tomorrow, 6 p.m. Unless Felix wants anything, and I can see Brother Tembo is still in the background.
Before you go, really, my YouTube activation.
Yes. Yeah.
My YouTube activation.
Yeah. We can talk about it after the live. Don't end the. I'll send you the WhatsApp line for. You can do. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
And
Thank you
maybe
so
that
much. Let me just take you off and then.
last word.
Yeah. Hey,
My last word.
Brother Felix.
Oh, yeah, how are you doing?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Last year.
Yes, my
Fine,
small
thank you.
contribution for this evening.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
My contribution is simply this. We've been discussing, I've been following you, despite my Wi-Fi was on and off. Yeah, my contribution, when
Okay,
you are
okay.
really discussing, we are discussing about Zambia and the gentleman who is a graduate and is selling charcoal.
Yes.
On two things that you must understand about Zambia. The first and foremost, I would like to quote Monica Msonda. There's a lady there who was in food production. She was
Yes.
working for Dangote some time back. Then she came back to Zambia. One part that you must understand is there is less involvement of Zambians in business. There are few people who are involved in business. You follow her story, and when she came back to Zambia with Dangote, they were asking, where are Zambian companies? That's a question that all of us should reflect. What is our involvement in business as Zambians? Check the businesses in Zambia. Most of them are from South Africa. All the
Yes.
Shoprite,
Yeah.
check what they're from South Africa. The question that we must be reflecting now is, as Zambians, what is our contribution towards building Zambia business? Because most of the time, of course, the government will have its major role to play to facilitate the environment for Zambians to run businesses. But on one part, the Zambians ourselves, first we have to blame ourselves. Being in politics, we are non-partisan. We get involved when things get wrong. That's when all of us will start complaining. If things are going on well, we are quiet. Until a minister or president make a mistake, then we rise up and then start saying, let's change the government. What changes is the name of the party and the face of the president. The same policies, the same corruption continues. So my challenge for all of us in Zambia, people.
Okay. So.
Said.
So what I would like to say is that's why we've started even a GoFundMe project to save money, raise money.
Is let's get involved from the beginning of the term of the president. The first time our economy, there's no contribution that we make. But remember, MMD also is a former party that was in government. What was their contribution? We talk of Ali Kalaba is also was a PF. What difference we make? So now it's time to demand manifestos in public.
Thank you so much. Mr. Tembo, any last words before we go, please?
Last words are the only people who develop Zambia are the Zambian, and the future is the youth. We have to equip the youth with the necessary tools. One of them is education, and education should end up in one, if he has interest or capability to work, one has to be able to work. If someone has to do a business, let him do a business. Yeah. Actually, the gentleman selling charcoal, he must be even more lucky, because there are other of his friends don't even have the job maybe to do the charcoal, because it's very difficult there in Zambia. I found also a graduate when I was in Zambia last year from University of Zambia, who was surviving on catching fish in Lake Bangweulu. So what it is let's create more opportunities for our youth and our children, because that is the only future we have. And investors are coming in. A good example are Chinese. When they establish a business, they come with their own people and they are giving the Chinese the jobs which are supposed to be Zambian jobs. So that should come to an end. And no Chinese businesses such as selling food, beverages, or barber shop, that should come to an end. I saw it. There's no way a Chinese client will come and cut somebody's hair. No, it shouldn't happen. I know Zambia is a free market economy, but such kind of thinking should be stopped. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So for those of you who would like to contribute, I have dropped the link on my YouTube channel and I'll drop it on my Facebook as well. Because what it is yesterday, I shared a video of the chef who was getting little money. People have tried to argue with me, some people, but I spoke to the supervisor. I like to verify facts. The supervisor has said she has even stopped working because of the same salary. She was getting 700 kwacha a month and the chef gets 1,200 and the chef is also planning to leave work. So my subscribers had said they wanted to contribute money. So we thought rather than having 2, 3, 4 links, we'll use the same link, raise the money, whatever money, obviously we'll have surplus monies. Then we start dividing. We've been told that people should start registering in October, but we'll talk about it tomorrow. Please prepare for tomorrow. We'll be talking about the elections. Why is it that they're asking us to register tomorrow? Thank you so much. Mercy, would you like to conclude before we go?
Just a few words on us working, us Zambians being entrepreneurial and going out there and setting up businesses. I feel Zambians have always been entrepreneurial. If you, and most people that you talk to and have conversations with, even years ago, I remember when you asked someone what they did, they said, I'm doing business. So it shows that people do hustle. They run around and try to set up means and ways they can generate revenue so that they can be able to support their families. But there's a failure in leadership, a failure by government in harnessing that and creating an environment where local businesses can thrive. Instead, the decisions that they're making with their, in terms of investors, foreign investors that they are bringing to the country, they don't set conditions which will benefit Zambians. For example, the case of employment. This is why you see investors will come with their own people, because you've not told them they need to employ at least X amount of employees in certain positions, because we need to exchange skills and we need to be able to learn. It's not enough that a foreign investor comes and they build something for you and then they leave. They'll come with their people. If you frustrate them, they'll leave, and then you struggle because you cannot maintain what they've left in your country. This is where you see companies that fail when investors leave or they're chased out. You see a situation in Zimbabwe as well when the farmers were kicked out. The Zimbabweans couldn't manage things on their own. So you need to do something together. You need to know your worth. You need to know the value of the resources that you have. And when someone is expressing interest in coming to do business with you, in partnering with you, you have to set it on your terms. There's something they want from you that they're going to benefit from. You should also be in a position where you set certain demands so that you can benefit. I watched a TED talk not too long ago. There's a lady that was doing an internship with one of these major organizations which lend money to countries. And she said on one of her jobs, she was talking to her boss who was mentoring her. And he made a comment about how he loved going to Africa, because every time he went there, it was easy. You just tell them what it is that you wanted. There was no negotiation. There were no demands that they were placing on you. They just said yes, yes, yes to everything. This is the same situation. This is why you see when locals are mistreated, someone, a Zambian speaks up, someone in the government gets uncomfortable, and they try to make it out that you're the one that's done wrong, and they make you apologize. There is no self-belief. When you look at the top, the youths are looking at that. If you at the top in a position of leadership, you have no self-belief, you have no confidence to negotiate these deals properly. What do you think the youths are going to have? They have nothing to look up to. This is why I keep saying the current government is an epic fail. If given a chance, any more years that you give them, it will be the death and destruction of democracy in Zambia. This is what this government is bringing. So we need to continue putting pressure on them. Thanks for the job that the graduate got. I mean, there's no jobs that we look down on. Every job pays bills. I've been able to pay for my education I did care work in the UK. That's how I was able to pay for my education. Obviously now I've changed my job, but there's no job that I disrespect, because that job, I paid rent, I paid for my education, I was able to send money home. You know, so there's no job that we look down on. So well done on the malasha that he was selling. But then again, there's issues with damage to the environment. So I'm wondering how sustainable that business is right now. So what is the government going to do to create that environment where the youths are going to strive? Those who can't find jobs, so they can find jobs. So there's a responsibility that they have. We need to keep putting pressure on them and highlighting stories. We need more stories of people who are struggling, because I'm sure there's hundreds of them. So they need to come out so we can expose that too. I would like to see if this government is going to come out and hire all of these people. I challenge them to do that. I really do. So we need these stories. We need stories of those people who've not been able to finish education and have had no options. We need that exposed. Those who can't go to school, they can't afford it. Those who have gone to uni, they've only done 1 year, they can't afford to pay, and they're struggling. We need these stories to come out. I mean, with the corruption in this government, I don't think they'll be able to keep up with those numbers. They're not going to keep up and do a turnaround quickly, because they've had plenty of time to perform and they have failed. So I would like to see what miracles they're going to perform. If people get jobs out of this, where they're earning money, it's great, no loss. But at the same time, we need to highlight the corruption that is going on and the failures, and to put pressure on them to come out and defend their record. I challenge you, current government, defend your record on corruption. Tell us what you have achieved and how you've reduced corruption since you've been the ruling party. I challenge you to come and defend your record on education, missed opportunities for the poor with good grades in school, who are very intelligent, who cannot finish their education, and thus in the end they cannot contribute to the country. I challenge you, current government, to come and tell us what you've done so we can upload for you. So don't go hide and start only talking to taxi drivers. When are you going to address the poor people who haven't finished school? So I challenge you to do that. I challenge you as well to tell us what improvements you've made in terms of paying the retirees who've been waiting for years and years and years. They've not got their benefits. I challenge you to come and defend your record. These are the things we need to know. I challenge you to come and show us your investigation, the results of it on the fire tracks. Can you justify those prices for 1 million? Can you justify the prices for bicycles? By the way, the bicycle thing happened after the fire tracks. So have you learned nothing? You know, I challenge you, you know, Mr. President, to come out and speak to your people. They shouldn't have to harass you, to come out of hiding, to have you address them. You being misled by the people that you're working with does not absolve you of your responsibility. So I challenge you to come out to tell us why we should vote for PF, why we should give PF another chance after the epic failure in performance. I challenge you. I challenge you to come out. Same with the opposition, however many they are who are standing for candidacy. I also challenge you to come out and tell us what you are going to do differently, because this is about the country. It's not about the opposition. So I would like to hear from all these people. I challenge you to come out and debate other candidates, Mr. President, because if you believe so much in the work that you're doing, you are so-called Bakateka. If you are worthy of that title, come out and tell us what you've done. Come out and stand proud and defend your work in the country. That's my contribution.
Thank you so much, sis. until tomorrow. Tomorrow we're talking about the elections. I've just shared a video on my Facebook. It's about 40 seconds of, you know, the pressure these people are facing. They're now saying they're going to every village, every town to make sure everybody has an NRC. So tomorrow we are talking about the elections. Is a October registration of elections, you know, suitable? We're talking about that tomorrow. Mr. Kwachangwe is now my daddy.
Oh,
How are you, sir?
I'm very well. You know, it's just depressing, especially when you see the poor being oppressed to the level where they can't lift up their heads to put food on their table. When it's the kind of poverty where now it's become where even the educated have become poor because they can't find jobs. And for any person with a consciousness, that should trouble your heart. And if a country is oppressing the poor, then you know you are into big trouble, I can honestly tell you. Because justice for the poor is paramount in the sight of God. And anyone who oppresses the poor really is actually, it's like poking your finger in the eye of God. And that's what I see this government has done, is that it has poked the poor, it has poked the eyes of the young and the old. And you see, if it has not been for churches and NGOs, I don't know where the poor would have been going for Zambia. So, and I think that's why we need to change the system. And this government, as my sister Messi has said, they need to stand up and tell us what they've done to improve the lives of the poor. What's their record? Because any leadership is approved by what the results. The measure of leadership is about what the lives of the people has been. But I think it's really, really depressing. Some of us would have been somewhere not even talking about it, but we are coming in the open because we are concerned for the poor of our people, you know, and it's just heartbreaking to see that. We hope that God willing, we'll be able to change the system and bring relief to and a glimmer of hope for the Zambian, and also instill confidence in the young people and the graduates, so that, you know, people begin to become more innovative and be proud of their education and their ability and their talents and the God-given gifts that God has given them. So that's what we are here for. Thank you very much, Lily.
Okay. Thank you so much. Until tomorrow. Tomorrow we need to discuss this further, and we'll raise a lot of concerns. Thank you so much, Mercy. Thank you so much, Apostle. Thank you so much to everybody that has been here to contribute. I don't take your presence lightly, doing something different. I always tell people on my Facebook that, you know, I could be busy with my life, doing my personal things, but because I'm concerned, you know, why should my Zambian people not be comfortable? And most of my subscribers from different parts of the world, they always say they wish they could have somebody like me in their country, where I'm so passionate. You know, not everybody will appreciate the work we're doing, but tomorrow we don't appreciate, because we're sowing seeds. It doesn't look like we're doing anything, but we're sowing seeds. People are watching, people want to contribute, people want to support what we are doing. And believe you me, don't even be intimidated. Don't even think as if what we're doing is a waste of time. It's not a waste of time. I've learned so much from different people. You know, we learn from each other. People have shared their experiences. We just heard that young man. Please, if you can email me, like I said, so that we can see how we can support him. You know, we want to support as many people possible, but you also have to help us by sharing, telling us what's going on, sharing us the stories. When you tell us the stories that are going on in Zambia, we will be there to help. Believe you me, people in the diaspora every year send $21 million to Zambia. I'm sure people cannot fail to support. Like somebody suggested on my YouTube channel yesterday, Lily, you have 66,000 subscribers. If each and every subscriber of yours donated $1, that's $66,000 that we can have to push projects for you guys in Zambia, to support you, to do the training workshop that we talked about. This is not a joke. Who wants to go to Africa and see their people suffering? What will be our pride? Our pride should be that we did something. We helped our people, and the Zambians are comfortable because we came together as a team. So thank you so much. See you tomorrow. tomorrow at 6 p.m. for live stream as we talk about the elections. It's go a little more terms, also known as Gelwapa said. Like Dr. J is saying, it takes a passionate heart to change the world. Yes. So please, 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 please. Thank you so much. Take care.